Welcome in for another episode of What's Bruin. This is a pre-game season opening episode. I am thrilled to be here with the one and only Gayle. Gayle, you excited for the game tonight?
I am actually. I'm very, very excited for tonight's game. How you doing, Chris?
Awesome. I'm doing well. Yesterday was a great little foot in the water, as they say. With a couple games that weren't Boston, so they weren't stressful or anything like that. Just fun to watch. You had Artur Shilovs go off for Pittsburgh. You had
hmm
a great game. If you like Colorado over the Kings, just a lot of fun hockey to watch, and it all actually meant something. So.
Right.
Our turn is coming up here in about an hour or so, and you and I were set to do the show tonight anyway. We have a roster to react to. We have the lineups. Pretty much, we know what it's going to be. And what we didn't touch on last week, Zdeno Chara is getting his number up to the rafters.
Well, that's because they announced it Monday, so we couldn't have got
Was it
to
Monday?
it
I
last
feel like
week.
it was. I was there was something that we didn't touch on at the end of last episode, and I remember closing off, going, "Oh crap, we should have mentioned that." But I thought it was Chara's number. But
No, Chara's number got announced on Monday.
either way, we all knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of was it going to be this year, next year, the year after, just time. And I don't think there's any Bruins fan out there that would sit there and go, "It doesn't deserve to be up there." So probably a quick discussion there.
Hey, Kevin.
How we doing, Kevin? Hopefully, Kevin's pumped for the start of the season as well. Did you have any thoughts on or anything that you wanted to share about Char's number getting retired or anything like that? Obviously, we have to at least mention it. But like I said, I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who says it does not belong in the rafters.
Yeah, I can't imagine any Bruins fan that believes that his number doesn't belong in the rafters. It's a no-brainer for me. Just like eventually 37 is going to be hanging up there as well. Um, as far as Chara, I understand. I mean, him going into the hall, getting his number retired, becoming part of the organization again. It's all where it's meant to be, and anyone that feels that Chara doesn't deserve to have his number up there doesn't know hockey.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily just about winning Stanley Cups, because obviously Cam Neely's up there. He didn't win a Stanley Cup. Ray Bourque's up there. He won with Colorado, but he didn't win with Boston. Rick Middleton's up there. I mean, it's not just about winning championships. It's so much more. And what Chara did for the organization, implementing the culture and everything else, it's just huge.
We also got Sully joining in on the pregame
Hey,
chatter
Sully.
here. Great episode with Sam, by the way, yesterday. Mike heard that one this morning. So solid episode from you guys over at Something's Bruin. And then Kevin says, I wouldn't say pumped for me. I'm too enthralled in the Patriots season, more curious towards the Bruins. I'll be watching, but I'm not sure what it is to expect yet. I mean, that's a good point there by Kevin, and actually a good segue. What are you expecting from the Bruins this year? What would
Me?
be a successful season in your eyes? Yeah, let's have that
So
conversation.
I and I think we've had this conversation a while back, or I may have said it on Bruins Tape to Tape. When I was a guest on their podcast, which shout out to them, by the way.
Absolutely.
Um, if things fall into place, like if Swayman is the Swayman that took the net from Allmark, and I mean, obviously it went 7 games, but beat Toronto in that first series, got them to go against Florida. If Hampus Lindholm is the Hampus Lindholm that was playing the last season and a half before he got injured,
Yeah.
if Morgan Geekie continues to have his, consistency, not just the breakout season, but consistency, if all of those things fall into place, and then you have to add in the fact that the defense automatically got upgraded with McAvoy and Lindholm back. Zadorov in his second year in a Bruins sweater. And then you have new coaching, new systems, like a lot of different things. I honestly believe they're going to push for the division. I'm
Yeah,
not sure they're going to win the division, but they're going to push and they're going to be in the mix and they are going to be a playoff team. That's
yeah.
how I feel.
I think in general, looking at them, defining a successful season is making decisions, if that makes any sense. Like we know going forward, your top line is going to be Geeky Lindholm Pasternak, period. Now it becomes, what's your decision on Victor Arvidsson? What's your decision on Casey Middlestead? What's your decision on Pavel Zacha? Are they part of the long-term future or not? Tanner Jeannot, part of the future. Can he establish himself back as a scoring threat? He doesn't have to get to 20, 25 goals to be a scoring threat, because if he's in a bottom six role and he is capable of putting 15 in on a regular basis, teams are going to have to watch out for him. It makes you dangerous.
I think you need to not. The Bruins aren't looking at the future; they're looking at right now. So they're not looking long term. This season, the puck hasn't even dropped on their season yet.
No, I think
20 games into the season, much like last year, you're going to see what you have.
Right, that's what I mean. It is figuring out what that landscape looks like in the immediate short term, and another success for the season has to be keeping an eye on your guys in Providence, because we wanted to see some of those guys take a step this preseason and make this roster. And a couple of them did. Fraser Minton did. Murat Hustadinov did. But beyond that, Mason Lohrei did last year and still kept his spot this year. I mean, he could have been on the bubble. I mean, there was no guarantees. They came into this the entire time going, the best players will get the spot.
Right.
And, I think with Matthew Poitras, because let's face it, that's the immediate name I know is going to get thrown in the comments, is Matthew Poitras generates offense. He absolutely does. I don't think he was competing for a third line role. I think it was there for him if he was the best option. I think they wanted to see him in a top six role. And that's why they sent him back to Providence, because they want him to be a 2C capable player. Poitras your first call-up if you have an injury in your top six. Let's be honest.
Not so sure about that.
He's one of your top call-ups. Also not making the roster, going through waivers, the big names that stand out for the fans, Matej Blumel and Michael DiPietro. Which one do you want to start with?
I don't understand why everyone's like, can we stop talking about Michael DiPietro, please? There's no reason. Like, if anyone thought he was making this roster over Swayman or Korpisalo, they don't watch hockey.
I'll stop talking about him after I get to take my victory lap, because
we'll take your victory lap and then let's move on.
I mean,
I'm really sick of talking about him.
Well, for
weeks, sick of talking about
we
him.
have been saying that he was going to get waived. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then last week I came on here and I said to you, there's no way he gets claimed. And I never wavered from that whatsoever. Right. And we saw goaltenders start to get, dropped off the waiver wire. They got claimed. Ingram gets through. But why wasn't DiPietro picked?
Well, the Bruins did something this year that they haven't done in years past. They only made 2 roster cuts.
Yeah,
in years past, they would make handful of roster cuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this year, they made the ones that you knew were not competing for spots.
Yeah, Shovel-Dayoff, Gallagher, Calavan, those guys who were possibly fighting for an AHL
You knew they were going down. The second set of roster cuts, which included DiPietro, Blumel, those Poitras, those players, they kept him till like the last preseason game.
Yeah, they literally cut him at the last minute. Every other camp made their cuts, so other players were available, which is why you and I talked about this off air before
we came on. Why Brandon Bussey got picked up and DiPietro didn't.
A lot of it was timing. Absolutely.
A lot of it was timing, and so, yeah.
There were 43 players put on waivers at the same time on that very last day. Right. That's the time you're going to get a Matej Blumel through. Right. Matej Blumel was great at, he generated offense. He shot the puck, I think, more than anyone else in the preseason. Dude only got 1 goal. There were no results from the offense he generated. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to come back up and all of a sudden score 30. If that happens, that doesn't mean cutting him was wrong. It means he had to go down, figure a few things out. Also, he was exposed defensively in massive ways at times. So, he has work to do. I would not be surprised if Matej Blumel gets stapled to a player like Patrick Brown down in Providence for a month and then gets called back up, and they try to reshuffle a few things around to say, okay, can he fit in on the left side of Fraser Mitten on the third line?
But it also depends on how the team's performing.
Exactly.
If the team's winning, and again, we have this conversation all the time, there's also the fact of who's he pushing out of the lineup.
Yep.
Now, again, is he going to take a middle six role? Because he's not taking Geeky's role. Because if Geeky isn't playing to his caliber, they're going to move Arvidsson up first. They're going to move Zach. You know what I mean? They're going to mix those top 6 forwards before they drop, Geek, So Blumel's not going to end up playing with Pastrnak and Lindholm if he's producing down in Providence right away. That's part of it, So when you have players like that, it's okay to spend some time down in Providence.
100%.
And Dom brings up a great point.
Yeah, contract structure was a key part. I think that's part of why they gave DiPietro the 2-year deal that they gave him. I think once he cleared, I said, was it you? I sent a text to someone. I was like, yeah, think about the guaranteed money in the contract. Who wants to pay their number 3 in the American Hockey League $812,500 just to be their number 3? I think that's part of why Bussey was more of a appealing option, because I don't think he has the 2-way contract or the 1-way contract, and it's certainly not for multiple years.
Well, and there was other people too that thought the Bruins were going to carry 3 goaltenders. Bruins were never going to carry 3 goaltenders. They were always going to carry 2 extra forwards, 1 defenseman. It's how they've always done it, and because they've just they're not going to carry 3, especially at the beginning of the season. It's not it's not like they're on a long road trip or and someone's banged up already. They're just not going to carry three goaltenders.
Now,
the only time they bring an extra defenseman is if they're on a long road trip and someone gets banged up, then they're going to maybe not bring one of the forwards and bring an extra defenseman in case someone does go down with injury, or if there's a forward bang, you know what I mean? So that's if you watch the Bruins transactions throughout pretty much.
Yeah, what? I think he means Don Cherry carried 3 goalies, but
how long ago was that?
Yeah, it hardly any.
I'm talking about in Don Sweeney's era.
Yeah, well, just think of it this way: in the last 15 years, I think the only time a team was carrying 3 goaltenders for a significant length of time was Buffalo.
Yeah,
and it didn't work out well for them either. So, I will say, I think a lot of people are overreacting to the fact that VL was kept over a player like Blumel just because of the amount of offense and the type of player VL is. Blumel wasn't going to get through waivers if he's the only player on the waiver wire.
Well, and the other thing too is not is it beneficial to have Blumel up on the 9th floor and only participating in practice, or VL?
I think it's much better off to have VL up there.
Right.
Blumel needs minutes.
You want Blumel, who again is not used to the ice over here, coming back over to learn the system, to get used to playing on the sheet of ice, to get his reps up, tighten up that defense. So when he's called up, he's ready.
Yeah. No, I was not. Also, let's not forget the fact that within 24, 48 hours of the cut, you saw 500 penalty minutes between Florida and Tampa in 2 games.
Yeah. So, can we talk about the fact that Florida barely Tampa got how bad disciplined? What is it? They were fined.
They were fined. The coach got fined. The players got suspensions.
And Florida, who was it that came off was ejected and then came back on the ice?
He never actually left the bench. That was the thing. And that's what caused the confusion, is because I don't think they knew he had been ejected. Again, I don't know how that happens. I genuinely don't get it. But yeah, they ended up pulling the goal off.
I'm laughing at Kevin's comment.
Kevin says, I feel as if a lot of Bruins fans get married to a specific player each year and then fill their diapers when what they want to have happen doesn't happen. It's a given every single year. Absolutely.
But it's not even just a specific player. Like you and I talk about this a lot, and Kevin, you've heard us talk about this. Dom, you've heard us talk about this. Pretty much everyone's heard us talk about this. When you have players like Fabian Lysell, Georgi Mikulov, Matthew Poitras, and I'm talking just last year, I'm not talking this year, who last year and the year before, who were they pushing out of the lineup, right?
Yeah.
Do you really want a Matthew Poitras on the 4th line getting 6 minutes a game because the 4th line's not out there? Or do you want him down in Providence getting the reps on offense, defense, penalty kill, power play, and building his all-around game? Or do you want him sitting on the 9th floor watching the game?
He's got to be in Providence, especially while he's waiver exempt. Like, that is a huge factor in the fact that you can sit there and go, let's just set him down, get him. He's going to be the 1C down there.
Right.
Again. Mm-hmm. And you can call him up as you need to. It's not the end of the world.
Guaranteed, if this team gets off to a rough start with the Zacha, Middlestat, Arvidsson line, okay? If it gets off to a rough start, if it's just, Geeky, Lindholm, and Pastrnak pick up where they left off, and that second line just isn't doing what Marco Sturm wants them to do, and he tries to mix up the second line and the third line, moving around, Fraser Minton and Casey Middlestat, moving Zacha into the middle. If he's doing all that and the Bruins still aren't getting the results that they want, you're going to see Poitras sooner than later.
Absolutely.
But it's not going to be that he's going to replace Casey Middlestat. Casey Middlestat's going to drop down and you're going to see Sean Corrali go off. It's going to be a domino effect because you're not going to give up that extra offense that you could possibly have. And Casey Middlestat, they're really expecting Casey Middlestat to bring more to the table than what the small sample size we saw last year.
Yeah, I mean, think about who his line mates were last year. So Sully supporting saying preach Gayle. And as he also points out, sometimes the truth hurts. Patience, everyone, it's what's best for them. And now Kevin throwing in, there's a difference between questioning a decision made and throwing a hissy fit. At the end of the day, the people actually working with the players see things we don't every day.
That is so. Thank you, Kevin. You know what? I got 100% agree with him because there's so many people that think that they know better than Adam McQuaid, Ryan Mougenel, and then the rest of, the hockey operations staff. that they're like, what are they doing with Fabian Lysell? He should be playing. He should be playing. Well, who did he beat out?
Nobody. I mean, some people might sit there and say, "Oh, well, he beat out Vielle." Well, the thing with that is Vielle is also serving a different role.
Correct.
As we just talked about, when you look around the league, and I think this most recent press conference, which we will get into in a minute as well, I think there was actually some honesty there. Believe it or not, I don't think they were full of shit in this one.
Right. I think they were more honest in this press conference than they've been in the last 5 years.
Probably, yeah. I would probably say that that's true. And there's did you bring the quote? I asked you to bring the quote.
Yes.
There was a quote. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Cam who said something. I don't remember exactly what his words were about trying to go out and get scoring.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull it up.
Because that one really stood out to me. And sorry, Sully, I'm gonna call you and Sam out on this one, you and Mel, because you guys talked at length about how they didn't add scoring this offseason. They tried, and this quote is going to tell you that they tried. The problem is, and here's my question to you, Sully, who was available? Who could they have added? Because the best offensive players signed with their teams they were already with. The best player who moved was Nikolai Ehlers, and he had no interest in coming to Boston. So what were they supposed to do? That's why they pivoted to this piss and vinegar attitude to be hard to play against. And I think in that quote, they also mentioned how they're going to continue to look to add the scoring.
Okay. So Neely said, well, obviously our scouts have a good idea, and our GM and assistant GM have a really good idea of who's available leading into July 1st. And then you take a look at those names and you start to prioritize. Who do you want to try to go after? And we did that. We really felt the bottom part of our lineup needed a little more piss and vinegar, if you will. So that was something we attacked first. And then, the free agent class was what it is from an offensive standpoint. So when it was as limited as it was, maybe some from previous years, it's going to be a little more challenging to try and get a player that you may want. But I thought our guys did a really good job of putting a roster together that is going to give us that piss and vinegar, and it's going to be hard to play against, and teams aren't going to enjoy that. That was the beginning part. And then someone asked, if I can find it.
Cut me off when you do. I do see Sully's comments. Thank you for forgiving me. And he says, Connor McDavid, I know it's in jest, and I know Kevin's agreeing in jest, but there were many people who were expecting or wanted to see them make a run for McDavid or Eichel. None of them were available this offseason. So people want to know why they didn't add anybody this offseason. Well, there was no one available. And guess what? Now they've all extended again. McDavid's off the board. Kaprizov is off the board. Eichel's now off the board. Like, they're all staying where they are. So now you have to find someone and identify someone who either is A, up and coming, B, already on a long-term deal and wants out of their current situation, or C, hasn't clicked yet. And that's where they're trying to get a Matej Blumel from, because the guy has led the AHL in goal scoring. And think about this. They have 3 of last year's top AHL goal scorers, and none of them could crack this lineup because they could not produce goals in the preseason.
Right. So Neely also said, I think we're going to have to play a tight defense if we're going to be one of the 8, meaning 8 playoff teams, as we're structured right now. And we knew that going in. We tried to bolster our lineup offensively in the offseason. It didn't come to fruition, but we got guys that are going to be tough to play against, hard to play against. Teams are going to circle playing against the Bruins and go, oh, damn, we got to play them tonight. That's the type of lineup that we put together, knowing that hopefully throughout the year, we can add some offense somewhere. Our specialty teams have to get better. They should be able to get better. There's no reason for them to not be better. So I think that's an area of improvement with being healthy on the back end and also goaltending. So those are areas I really believe we're going to improve upon. It's just a matter of making sure that we're keeping the puck out of our net, because it's going to be a little bit more challenging to score some goals. But we're hoping to address that through the year as well. See, that's exactly what you and I have talked about. And I always say the Bruins are always built from the back end out. They start with goaltending, then it goes to defense, then they're hard to play against, and then it's goal scoring. Right.
And he even said they looked at who's available, they prioritized, and then players started dropping off the board. So whether that player, whatever that order is, Mitch Marner came off the board, Brock Besser came off the board, like these guys were coming off the board. And so they said, okay, who's still at our highest priority? Well, we need to add some piss and vinegar to our bottom six. That's where Tanner Jeannot, Michael Easymont come into play.
Right.
I don't
know.
And
even if Corrali.
Yeah, but here's my question. If they're able to sign Brock Besser, do they still sign Sean Corrali? I don't think so.
No, probably
you know what I
not.
mean? Like,
no.
Do they sign just Michael Easymont and not Tanner Jeannot? Or, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know exactly what their priority orders were, but maybe they don't go in on as high of a contract as Jeannot, as they did with Jeannot, if they're also able to get Besser. So if they go Besser and Easymont, they look at that and go, that's better than just Tanner Jeannot. But now they looked at it and they went, all of these guys are off the board. Ehlers doesn't want to come here. We can't add any scoring options. There are none available to us. So what are our next best options? Let's focus on the defense. And that's where Easymont and Corrali come in.
If you pull up Mike Sully's and Kevin's comments, they both have the same comments about Arvidsson. And I 100%, I agree with people. I agree with them. I think that he's going to be, he could actually earn the 7th player. You know what I mean?
I think so.
Because so many people don't believe that he's going to be able to produce. But again, like a lot of people didn't think Elias Lindholm was going to produce, and he didn't in the first half of the season. And again, it was because of a back injury that no one knew about. Down the stretch, he produced. The stretch, he produced number 1. And then he produced in Worlds. So him coming back now, and now he's built that chemistry with Geeky and Pasternak, right? So
absolutely,
who's to say Arvidsson with Middlestat and Zacha, that could be the perfect trio. Oh, thank you, Sully. They could be the perfect trio because again, as much as I love Zacha down the middle, I like him better on the wing because I think he plays more free. I think he plays more open-minded as opposed to looking for the pass. He's looking for he plays more. He's not David Pastrnak. Don't take it that way.
Someone will. I'll clip it right here.
He plays more like Pastrnak when he's on the wing. He can generate plus shoot. Yes. But when he's in the middle, he doesn't shoot as much. He looks to pass it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Real quick, I do want to get caught up on some of these. So as you mentioned, Sully mentions Arvidsson is going to be better than people think because of that shooting mentality, which Kevin said that he's a sneaky good pickup. I agree with that. He could easily put up 50, 60 points between the power play and second line minutes. Absolutely. I think he was vastly misused in certain areas, especially when he's on the third line in Edmonton. And I don't think his game really complemented what Edmonton is trying to build around in McDavid and Draisaitl. And that's okay.
Right.
That's why I think this is worth, and it's a 1-year thing. So if it doesn't work, if it doesn't fit, even if he looks good and it's just not working in Boston, someone else will probably want to take a flyer on him as they head into a playoff push.
Right. And the other thing is, too, is that if the Bruins lineup wasn't built the way it was this year, like if it was 2 years ago, the historic season, you know what I mean? That's not a player that Don Sweeney's going for. You know what I mean? It's the way this lineup is built. He goes for those garbage goals. He gets those greasy, dirty goals. And he has the shoot first mentality, which is what they're lacking.
And Ian jumping in saying we're waiting for Matthews and McDavid when their contracts are up. Be patient, people.
Listen, I was I honestly was hoping they were going to get Marner, but
And facts here from Dom as well. He says, "Get ready, folks, but the new higher caps mean that the best players are re-signing with their teams. It's going to be built through the draft and trades." Absolutely.
well,
Kevin
I
adds
mean,
to that the AAVs are climbing fast.
but look at the fact that McDavid just did a short term because he wants to win and he thinks right now he has the best chance of winning in Edmonton. So he added a 2-year extension to stay in Edmonton to try and win that elusive Stanley Cup.
And he took such a low AAV on that, in the sense
Right.
that I don't think it's necessarily the clock is ticking. I think he wants to know, what are you going to do in the long term to keep us competitive? Because there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, well, they'll need to add such and such at the deadline. And I sit here and I go, with what? They've
Right.
already sent Savoy down. They've already sent Isaac Howard down. They can easily come back up. I get it. They're waiver exempt. I'm not freaking out over it. But those are their two best trade chips as well.
Right.
So I'm wondering, if they're not in the NHL and they're not NHL ready, if they're playing in the American Hockey League, is that to build their trade value so they can get something else for them, or are they expecting them to be those pieces? Either way, those are their only two pieces pretty much at this point. So they have to do money in, money out. Granted, there's some flexibility in the offseason for free agent signings and stuff. And there are going to be players who go, I want to hit free agency, I want to sign there, and I want to play with McDavid, and I want to go win a cup with McDavid. That's going to happen. But players have to get to free agency first. And we just saw how that doesn't happen as much as we think. So Kevin jumping in saying, I'll pass on Austin Matthews, and asking, didn't we get Arvidsson for like a 4th or a 5th? Yeah, we did. It was a great use of a middle round pick, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think the reaction to who's been kept and who was waived, way overblown.
Well,
if the players were that good, they would have been picked up off of waivers.
Well, so let's look at this quote from Don Sweeney. And again, who was it? Oh, Sully said it. Honesty from the front office is so refreshing. 100%.
Yeah, I think someone from PR got in there and said, you guys can't lie your ass off in this press conference, otherwise people will be pissed.
I disagree. I think that Neely and Sweeney are both basically like, screw you. Like, we're done. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think that they are just done with people calling them incompetent. Yes, I do, Kevin. I agree with passing on Matthews. I hate Austin Matthews.
Yeah, I don't think he's prime for the. I think he's still gonna have some injury problems this year. I don't think
it's not even that. Like, I would have, like, on the Toronto team, the 3 players I would take on Toronto from last year's club: William Nylander, Mitch Marner, or Matthew Nice. That's it.
Yeah, I think so.
If I'm talking offense,
I was gonna say I
would love to have Brandon Carlo back.
I was gonna say I'd also give consideration to Morgan Riley as well, depending on what the rest of my decor looks like. But
yeah,
you know, I'll put it this way: with Toronto, when it comes to Austin Matthews is a perfect example as to what he's talking about. When was it Cam who said the quote about teams coming in going, "Oh God, we have to play them tonight"?
Yeah,
that is exactly what a player like Austin Matthews is going to feel. I think a player like Jack Hughes is going to feel the same way when they come into Boston, especially coming into Boston, but looking down going, oh, we play Boston tonight. Those are the types of players that, while they have the speed and skill, they have to get through the physicality of it.
Can we look at William's question?
The Will Hagen's take to see when college is over.
It depends.
Yeah.
Because it depends on where the Bruins are and who's that 2C at the time. You know,
and what Hagen's season looks like.
Right, because we have to remember that players couldn't get into the Bruins lineup because of players like Bergeron and Krejci.
Right. We do have, real quick, I'm just pulling up the Bruins sent out the lineup for tonight, and we do have it correct. Geeky, Lindholm, Pasternak, Zaka, Middlestead, Arvidsson, Janot, Minton, Easimont, Hustadinov, Corrali, and Kostelik, Lorai, McAvoy, Lindholm, Peak, Zadorov, Kastelik, Zadorov, Jokiharju, Swayman, Korpisalo. So we do have that lineup confirmed. Just throwing it out there. We figured we were right on it, but I like Dom's comment. Matthews is going to wait for an Arizona expansion team. Ian throws in, we mentioned Willie Nylander, but he also throws in Max Domi as well. And yeah, Kevin, it really depends on how Higgins develops in college. I think right now he's projected.
The roster is.
I could see a McAvoy route with Higgins, but that really is all on him. Yeah. And where the roster is. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you were saying.
And it also depends, like, where's Patra? You know, is he still with the club? Has he been traded away? Has he taken the 1C? Has he taken the 2C? Like, no one knows what the development is of these players until it actually happens.
Right. And also, let's see where they're at, because in a month, 2 months from now, somewhere in that range, we don't know where other teams are going to be in the standings, and we don't know what that's going to open up for other players. As an example, and I'm not saying this is what should or will happen, but take a player like Artemi Panarin as an example. Final year of his deal. Could the Rangers look to move him if they're completely out of the playoff mix? If your second line isn't working the way you want it to, is there a deal to be made there? There are plenty of other players, and like I said, Panarin is just the first one that came to my brain. There are plenty of other players. Maybe the Blues look at Jordan Kyrou again. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know who's going to become available during the season.
Those white jerseys just go so hard. Sorry.
Yeah, they do though. We just don't know who's going to be available. And now one of the bigger things they have in their prospect pool, Dom says, I just want to see where they are in 4 hours. Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough. You don't know what options are going to come to fruition and who you can jump on.
Right.
So, you know, I threw it at you a couple weeks ago. Would you have dealt or considered dealing James Higgins for a Mason McTavish package? And we both agreed you at least have to discuss that.
Right. I think that you have to discuss anything.
Exactly.
You know, okay. So here's the quote about the young guys not making the roster.
Okay, I'll let you do that, and then I'll pull up Kevin's.
No, I didn't say make me hard. I said they go hard.
Kevin, they hit hard on that ice.
I love the white jerseys.
This isn't hard. A different Bruins podcast. And he says, I truly think Higgins will do 2 years of college and then get brought up at the end of that second season. There's no reason to rush him. Kevin, this is his second season in college, so clarify that a little bit. Higgins thinks he's ready now. He's not spending 2 more years in college. I agree. So, all
right. So the quote about the younger guys not making the roster, and that would be Blumel, Patra, Lysell, you know, any of those guys. And Sweeney said, well, they're disappointed. A couple of those guys yesterday we were talking to are right on the doorstep. And these are the hard decisions you make. If we're talking about being right on the doorstep, you have to be talking about Patra and Blumel. Those are the only 2 names that were really on the bubble, right?
I think so, yeah.
And he said several of them made it very difficult. And Frazier, to his credit, took the opportunity and he earned it. So we're going to start that way. The other guys are going to go and put the work in that's required to be next in line. The message is going to be, we're going to play the players that are playing the best. And that extends to Providence. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say real quick, when you said we're going to start that way. So that legitimately means in 2 weeks, you could see Minton and Patra flipped.
Yeah.
Just so they get a look at how it looks.
But not if Minton is doing everything that he needs to do. They're not
exactly.
You know, so, and then it said, these guys understand why they were brought here and they delivered. From a competitive standpoint, they're on the doorstep. Matthew Patras, he played plenty of games And Matthew Potter is speaking of that young player, but Fraser Minten earned it. And as did the other guys that are currently here. So basically, he's saying that they gave Potter a shot, but they thought that the team was better with the other players that they kept.
Now, my only counter to that is how many times did Potter set up a player with a shot who missed the shot? So, you know what I mean? Like, I think...
But that's not that. But that's not... They're not just looking at...
It's not the only thing. I know.
Picture.
I know. I'm just saying,
because if you look at the whole picture, Blumel was on the power play every single game, and he got sent down to Providence.
Well, that's my point.
So they're seeing that Fraser Minten is going to give them what they want right now, and Poitras and Blumel still have work to do.
Absolutely. And there is the factor in that Minten also doesn't need waivers. So you have some flexibility. And I know Dom pointed this out in one of his more recent articles. They have cap room, which means they don't have to stress about who's coming up, who's going down. Cap. They're going to have... I'm going to pull up Dom's cap image in just a second here. I want to get caught up on a couple of these. Sully makes the comment, "What's Bruin after dark?" Because of all that.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. The jerseys go hard.
Kevin says, "I agree with Dom. I think it's messed up. I think that's up to what the Bruins think." Ian asks, "Would you trade Geeky in pieces for Panarin?" Absolutely not.
No.
Again, Panarin was just a name that I knew off the top of my head. I can find other ones.
But I want to clarify the reason why is because Geeky hasn't reached his ceiling yet.
That, and we know what the chemistry is with Pastrnak, Lindholm, and Geeky.
So
I don't know what putting
player
Panarin
that I'm willing to part with.
Exactly.
For an aging veteran.
And Kevin then adds, "Nope, I'm talking about the 2 years starting this season. I'm well aware he skipped his senior year in high school and already played his freshman year at BC." William adds in, "Middlestead was terrible. I hope his leash is short." Middlestead was also dealing with a little injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to give him a little bit more. And that's the advantage of Poitras not requiring waivers, because you can give Middlestead a little bit more of a look and say, okay, what does he look like with Arvidsson and Zacha? And then if you need to, you can make adjustments down the road to see how does Poitras fit in. That's where that cap space comes into play. That's where, having some of these other guys, but you're going to want to see how things look. Like Beecher and Hustadinov are a good one out for the other option. Right. But Beecher's not going in for, Jeannot on the third line or Minten on the fourth line. They're going to do other mix-ups.
Well, and the other thing is, too, is like I said at the beginning of the pod, if Casey Middlestad, if they're not getting what they want from him, he's not coming out of the lineup for a Matthew Poitras. He's getting pushed down the lineup, and a Sean Corrali's coming out of the lineup. You know what I mean? And then Matthew Poitras coming in. So there's a little bit more going on than just... But
they might even try and move him at wing and see how does the line look if Zacha's in the middle with Middlestead on the wing and that sort of thing.
Right. And so two things. Middlestead last year was a very short sample size. And there were times where he played very well and times where he played not good at all.
And he played with two guys who aren't here anymore.
Right. Exactly. And so now he started, and again, we talked about this on the last pod, and Sturm talked about it when he started camp, that he looks at pairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so his pair right now on that second line is Middlestead and Zacha. Yeah. And Arvidsson is coming in on that, the other wing. So Middlestead and Zacha have built that chemistry, but they really haven't seen that much time, the three of them together, because of Casey's injury and whatever he was nursing and for other reasons. So he's not going to have necessarily a short leash, but Sturm's also not going to be like, again, they're not going to take Middlestead completely out of the lineup and put him on the ninth floor. If they bring up a Poitras or a Blumel, they're going to shift people around, and they're going to take from the third or fourth line, move Middlestead down, because he's still a centerman. You know what I mean? And he has
Absolutely.
more upside. And I love Sean Corrali, but he has more upside than Sean Corrali.
Right. Kevin says, I'm actually really excited to see what Minton does. He's giving Charlie Coyle vibes to me. I do think that Minton's upside is a little bit higher. I think it is kind of funny seeing him with guys like Easymont and Janot, but one of the things that I see there is, especially with Easymont, the speed. Those guys, Easymont and Janot, they have an ability to score. We've seen it before. They have to tap into it, but Minton is the kind of player who, similar to Patra, can help them get it out of them. But their primary focus is going to be the defensive aspect of the game. So anything that entire line gives you on offense is extra. That's your depth scoring. Janot was going to find any sort of scoring touch with either Minton or Patra. That's who he was going to find it with. And they're going to give him a chance to try and do that. And I think Easymont has shown in the preseason that he also has that same type of scoring touch that a Janot can have. I think he might have it a little bit more so. I think a lot of people are more surprised at Hustadinov being on the fourth line. But if you look at how the third and fourth lines are built, they're actually built very similarly. Dom says, if they bring anyone up, someone has to go down. Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a given.
Yes. I think what she's saying, though, Dom, is before they just call someone up, they're going to try some of these other things. Pull, like you said, pull Corrali out of the lineup, try and move Minton down. Now, if you're now changing that up a little bit, who's more likely to get through the waiver wire?
Even if they do call up Patra, again, they're gonna send either Corrali, they're gonna put Corrali on waivers to go down, or they're gonna put Beecher. You know what I mean? They're not gonna just take Middlestat and say, you know what I mean? Like Middlestat's gonna move down the lineup, and someone else is gonna get sent to Providence. That's right. What I'm saying.
Unless he looks like absolute trash and they throw him on the waiver wire. But that's a whole other different thing. And right. I don't expect him to be that bad. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a 2C.
Right.
And as Kevin points out, getting thrown onto one of the worst teams in the league at the deadline with an interim head coach isn't a great way to distinguish who a player is.
And that's Casey Middlestat.
And that's what happened to Casey Middlestat. Now, I promised I'd pull up Dom's image here. So when I say they have plenty of cap space, they're going to have plenty of cap space to add almost anybody at the trade deadline, because by the deadline, they'll accrue $9.9 million in cap space if they make no other moves. I anticipate them making moves. Let me be clear about that. The only waiver exempt player they have, though, is Fraser Minton. So I do think that if they are going to make a move to call someone up, Minton is the guy at first to go down. Depending on what they're doing.
Not if he that's the thing. Like
again, it depends on what they're trying to do to the line.
Right, but it also depends on where the team is too.
Absolutely.
If the team is competing and they're just not getting what they think they're getting out of their 2C, but they know he could be a 3C, they're not going to take Fraser Minton out of the lineup to bring up Matthew Patra.
Well, that's the other thing is, if everything else looks good, if your first line is performing the way that it can, if your third line is performing and your fourth line is bringing what you expect them to bring, and the only problem is Casey Middlestat, then you're going to have other conversations about what's the best way to address this one problem. How good is the third line? You know what I mean? Like, those are all going to be factors. William says Minton is one of the best deals the Bruins have done in quite a while. And then Dom says, or they can put someone on IR with Kevin, with hashtag Kevin face it is, and call up Patra. If someone gets banged up, IR is always an option as well. 100%.
Speaking of Kevin, can we talk about Kevin Pasternak?
Sure. William says plenty of those guys will clear waivers. I'm sure some of them will. Post? No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Fanatics said that Kevin Pasternak had the number 5 selling jersey.
Oh, boy.
Bruins legend, Kevin Pasternak.
It's not even close. It's not like if it was like David and they spelled it Davd, like okay, misspelling. We've all had that kind of text message go to somebody. You know what I mean? But that's not even close.
No.
That's But yeah, no, I mean, also with the way this team's going to have to play, someone's going to end up on IR. Let's be real. Dom saw it. Kevin Pasternak. That was so funny. So,
all right. So I got a question from Jack Aubrey on Blue Sky.
perfect.
He said, I won't be able to catch live because I usually consume the podcast the day after.
Awesome, which we appreciate. Shout out.
So he asked, what is your projected split between Swayman and Korpisalo, assuming good health for both? Do they dial it back a little, 50-50, or Swayman unless it's a back-to-back?
Well, he asked you, so I'll let you start.
Okay. So last year,
he should be named Kevin. Fanatics is on to something.
You're a little biased. So last year the workload wasn't the problem for Swayman, right? We can all agree that it wasn't the workload, it was everything else that happened.
Yeah.
So I think personally, if Swayman is your number one goaltender, then he gets 50 plus and Korpisalo gets the 29 to 30, you know what I mean? The difference. I don't think they're going to go 50-50. I think with the condensed schedule before the Olympics and after the Olympics is going to be a factor.
Oh, absolutely.
So it may end up being, high 40s for Sway, you know what I mean, as opposed to the 50 mark, because if the back-to-backs.
Yeah.
But I don't see them going. I don't see them going 50-50 with the two netminders. I see them riding Sway more.
Yeah, Kevin says 60-40, but if Sway catches fire, I expect him to play more.
I mean, if Sway plays the way he did going into the Christmas break last year, because he was solid, and then he didn't play that great, coming in the team played like crap after.
Dom says, I bet if you ask me at the end of the season, I can nail the split perfectly.
Yeah. But if he plays the way he did in Worlds, he's not giving up his net.
No, and that's where a 60-65 split comes in, right. 60 to 65 for Sway and then 35 to 40 for Korpisalo. I will say Korpisalo had a very strong preseason.
Oh, yeah.
He is tracking the puck very well. And if Swayman does struggle, I don't think they're going to hesitate to say, we're going to ride Korpisalo as long as we can, because I think they are looking at it more in terms of we've got to ride the hot hand versus we've got to ride our guy Sway.
But the other thing is, too, is if Sway is playing the way Sway can play, right? Like if he demands the net and he's owning it and he's shutting games, he's stealing games for the Bruins and he's keeping them in the playoff hunt and everything else, then I'm not sure that if another team is having issues with their goaltending, that they don't move Korpisalo.
Yeah, that's also going to depend based on how the Bruins are doing, because if the Bruins are being held in it based on goaltending and defense, as their plan is, are they going to want to part with Korpisalo? Do they have the confidence in DiPietro?
But if he's only playing 25 plus game, if he's only playing around 25 games, then you move on from him.
Possibly, yes. It depends on where they stand, because if your goaltending is that important to you, you need to be prepared for what happens if you lose one.
Oh my God! Stop with if you lose Swayman to injury, because you drive me batty with that.
Also, DiPietro's not an NHL goaltender. He
Who
is
says it's
not.
DiPietro? Who says that who's it? But seriously,
Real
you
quick,
always say, what if Swayman gets hurt? Stop putting that in the universe.
real quick, Martin Necas is no longer an option. He just signed a 7-year extension with Colorado, 9.9 million AAV. I believe.
So can you pull up Dom's question?
He says, I have a serious question for a change. Oh, Dom actually with a serious question. Okay. Any concern about the condensed schedule early, less practice time, and the players are still learning the system? Absolutely a concern, but until it shows on the ice, I'm not going to make it a major issue.
I'm not concerned.
Apparently, Kevin thinks you're crashing out.
Well, Kevin, I'm not as concerned as you are because this team, the camp that they had compared to last year, they are so focused and they have such a chip on their shoulder that game reps are more important than practice.
Never mind. That wasn't a contract. It was a projection for Natchez. Sorry.
Thanks for paying attention.
I was just trying to get the updated piece of information, and I heard what you said. I agree. They've come out of the gate very pissed off about what happened last year, and they have all talked about how different this camp was than last year. So I think they're going to come out of the gate and be strong. And I think that's part of why they went with the group that they went with, because anybody who might have even been struggling with the system, I think that might have been part of why Blumel was defensively exposed the way he was. If he's able to get the system down in Providence and produce the offense while he fixes the defensive aspect, then they will look at bringing him back up.
Right. So, but
thanks, Kevin.
We talk about the players having chips on their shoulder and being pissed off at how things went last year. You have McAvoy, Lindholm, Hampus Lindholm, and Jeremy Swayman that are so focused on having bounce back years after what happened last year. You have Geeky, who's like, you paid me, now I got to prove it. You've got Middlestat that's going, you're entrusting me with 2C. I got to prove that you got me for a reason.
Yep.
You have a new coach who isn't afraid to use the young players. Right?
Yep.
And you have ownership that's basically like, screw you. We need to be this type of, you know what I mean? Like this franchise. And you've added Zdeno Chara back into the mix. Now, I know he's not lacing up the skates and going to put on the spoke to be again. Well, he is in practice, but not in game time. But you have that culture. You have that will to, and you have Zadorov, who down the stretch had played some of his best hockey.
Yeah. And he really cleaned up the penalties. I know a lot of people were worried about him coming back with the penalties and all that. I know he's learning another new system.
And he's going to take penalties.
He's one of the biggest dudes on the ice. They're going to focus on him.
Right.
So he's going to take penalties that you're going to look at and go, that one wasn't a penalty. It wasn't. But they're going to call it because they just kind of assume. Right. And then there are going to be a few times where there's going to be one where you go, ooh, he should have been called for that. And then he's not, because the ref is trying to go the other direction with it. So it's going to buoy for him. I'm not overly worried. And if you go with the defensive base lineup, I think that's part of why Beecher made the team. Because how many times, and I know Dom mentioned it in our comments, the penalty kill, getting players involved in the penalty kill. Real quick, Kevin, thank you so much. He said, that's sports, though. Anyone can get injured at any time. We shall see how it plays out. And then he says, like last year, I'm focused on another top 10 pick. We need it bad. Well, Kevin, if it makes you feel any better, I think you could get that top 10 pick if things go wrong for Toronto. But you also have two first rounders that you could potentially move up in the draft with. So we'll talk more about that when that gets closer. Just because right now the draft picks, they're all fugazi, as they say. They're they're magic. They're what's the one from Family Guy? It's a mystery box. It's a first round pick. It could even be a first round pick. Kevin, now she's really crashing out.
Can I reel you back in?
Go ahead. Where do you want to go to next?
Let's talk about Charlie Jacobs saying that there's 12,000 names on a waiting list.
Paying to be on a waiting list.
Yes.
I don't know if you caught that. They are paying to be on a waiting list. I'm not sure it's quite that large, but I'm sure there is a wait list.
I know people that have dropped their season tickets.
Yeah, but I can guarantee you, having been in a ticket office, as soon as they did, somebody jumped on.
I'm well aware of that, but it's. I don't know. I don't know how they have that long of a waiting list.
I will also say this. I think a lot of fans, especially on social media, talk a big game. I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
Well, half of them probably aren't even season ticket holders.
Well, that, and then also most of them don't follow through. It's all talk. Again, I know I was in a different front office or different ticketing office, but I saw it all the time. All the threats to cancel. And there were times where people were so pissed off on something, and there was nothing. You had to let them rant and rave over the phone, and the only way you could end it was by going, I agree, you should cancel them then. If it means that much to you, you should cancel them. And guess what? They never do. They never do. Okay, fine. 2% of the time, maybe they do. But 95% of the time, the reason why someone has canceled their season tickets with a team is because they move, they can't afford them anymore, or that whatever reason they had for buying them, their kid or whatever, is now off at school. That's what it is.
Right.
Wait, Dom, you had a 3-day suspension? He says, it's anthem time. I enjoyed my first day of a 3-day suspension. Enjoy the game, folks. I really hope, Dom, that you're going to watch it with your grandson. Hopefully everyone in the family is doing well. Go enjoy the game. Have a great night. I guess my question for you is, how much longer do you want to go? Normally we go for about an hour and a half-ish. But as Dom points out, the game is getting ready to start. I still can't believe that that they're throwing the stats up. I can't believe Swayman's goals against last year was 3.11. That just does not look right. And the save percentage of 0.892, those numbers just don't look right. I think he's a very good candidate for a very long end. Like, if you're looking for long odd bets, $5 on him for the Vezina.
Well, I mean, you look at what he did last year because of all the different things. I mean, he wasn't the Swayman that we're used to seeing.
I know. I think he's poised to have a really good bounce back season, and with Korpisalo being better behind him.
They gotta show his record from last year because those were his stats. I mean,
I know, they just don't look right.
No. Well, you look at the fact that the Bruins were what? Holy crap. I wrote it earlier today.
30, I think they were 30, 39 and something. I remember hearing it on something.
33, 39 and 10.
I was close.
My concern with Swayman starting this game is his record against Washington in his career.
I'm just not sure Washington is going to be the team they were last year. I think they got a massive push from Ovechkin's goal chase, and that is gone.
But it still doesn't deny the fact that he's 3-6-0 against the Capitals in 10 games.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, what when you narrow it down to just the matchups against a single team, is it like what's the home and road split there? You know what I mean? Like, what are the other factors? How many times was he in that game against Washington on a back-to-back? Like, there are other factors that I don't focus on a single team record like that much. Swayman's sample size
But yet
overall is
you
far
want to
too
talk
large.
about him getting injured every single podcast.
Well, that could actually happen.
Oh my God.
Kevin, I made her crash out again.
God help me.
You know, it's become just a thing at this point. I guess the last
Michael Sturm's wearing my color.
I must have been looking down when they showed him, but really the last thing I
purple.
had on my list of importance, thoughts on Hampus Lindholm getting the third A.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I mean, he could. Thanks, Kevin. You see what he said?
Oh yeah, he says go get him.
I'm fine with Lindholm. I think Lindholm would have earned it last year had he not been injured after Marchand was traded. You know what I mean? Like, he would have been wearing an A with Pasternak if he was in the lineup, and with McAvoy. I think that the only other thing that they could do is they could do Lindholm for a certain amount of games. They could do Zadora for a certain amount of games. They could do, I mean, it's just that's the I mean, when you look at the alternate captains, when you have no single voice, they're all the veterans are going to step up. We saw it in Zadorov last year.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. I kind of expected it. I think most of us did.
Yeah.
I guess the only question I have is, does it say anything about the fact that they aren't rotating it, or that there is no one else
The Bruins said for the season.
In
the post, the Bruins said the A's for the season.
That's what I mean. The fact that they chose not to rotate the third A, or anything like that.
I'm fine with that.
I think it goes to show that Hampus's leadership is more than most people expect.
Oh, goody. Let's get a first look at their PK.
Who's on the PK is the question. I think I see, is that EC Mont? Corrali's on it. I see Corrali, McAvoy, looks like Lindholm, and trying to see the number.
No, it was Zaka.
Oh, Zaka.
It was Zaka.
I see 73.
73, 27, 52, and 94. Zaka already went off the ice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at who's on the ice.
Oh, sorry, 84, not 94.
That's a good cover by Swayman right there. He's tracking the puck well already. I don't know. I don't think Washington is going to be. I think they can easily be bumped out of the playoffs in the Metro, and I think there's enough other competition around. Yeah.
We got an actual email from the NHL PR department today that if for any reason he reaches 900 tonight, he needs 3 goals, obviously, to reach 900, that he's going to do a satellite press conference.
Oh.
So I don't want him to get 3 goals tonight.
Kevin says, so we doing a live watch along. I'm here for it. I'll stay. You know me. I've done it with Kevin, with Kenny before. In fact, I could probably reach out to Kenny and get him to jump on.
Have Kevin jump on with us.
I'd love for Kevin to jump on. I've been trying to convince him for 2 years to get back behind a microphone.
Kevin, jump on with us.
He's probably stuffing his face with another burrito.
All right, so Peak, Mitten, Zadorov, and who just took that face off? Oh, Lindholm.
Kevin says, I'm not jumping on.
Listen, then keep the comments coming then.
What I can do is I can also edit the pod so we have to watch along as a separate, so that people, when the pod goes out later on, they're not looking at it going, why do we have a 4-hour pod?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to do the whole show,
Yeah,
the whole game.
I'm willing to watch along, though. Kenny and I have done this countless times. It's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
especially when everybody's watching the same game. Kenny and I did it for some of the American Hockey League games last year, and it's a lot of fun. Kenny says that he is able to jump on in a little while. So
Wait, I don't remember saying yes to Kenny.
I mean, Kenny, Kevin, names are similar. Kenny Pasternak, right?
Yeah.
Says it right there. You can't lose me. I'm your number one commenter. Oh, okay. And sometimes the statistics that get thrown out there this early in the season are funny. Shout out Short Shifty. Just I want to say it was I don't even know. Short Shift Pod account just sent out that the Bruins are 100% on the PK this year.
Hey, all right. I got a question for you.
Sure.
I had put this out on my Blue Sky. I've been interacting more on Blue Sky than I am on Twitter because it's not as toxic. So who scores the first goal for the Bruins? Oh, Lindholm. Did you see that?
I just looked up and I saw him on the bench.
He was skating through the crease, lost the puck. It almost went under Swayman's pad.
I mean, there's still going to be some rust for Lindholm. I will give him a little bit of a break. But to your question on who scores the first goal, man, I think the favorite would be David Pasternak, but I feel like that's too easy of an answer. I really want to say either Morgan Geekie or Pavel Zacha, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it was Easymont.
Okay. Who's your early favorite for the 7th player?
Easymont. I think Arvidsson has the ability to give him a push for his money, but
you have to remember the true meaning of the 7th player is exceeds expectations.
I know, but I don't think there were a lot of expectations for
the fans are the one that votes, not organization. The fans.
I know.
Who are people more mad that they signed or brought in?
Tanner Janot.
But I'm talking about Easymont or Arvidsson.
I think a lot of people actually have a realistic outlook on both of them. And granted, I think a lot of that is because of the overreaction to the Janot signing. But people, I mean, I think a lot of people were projecting Arvidsson to be on the third line, and I don't know why. Because he's never been a third line player. He's played in a third line role, but he's never been a third line player. So yeah, I mean, I could see Arvidsson exceeding the expectations, but I do think, like you said, because it's a fan vote, there is just enough popularity to it that I think Easymont squeaks it out.
Okay.
Kevin says, I called Ryan Donato being the first goal scorer in Kraken history. I'm retired now from predicting. He was right. He did do that. I remember when that happened, and we were all pretty surprised that it happened. So,
and the last question is, who leads the team in PIMs?
In PIMs, I mean, can it be anybody other than Zadorov?
Yeah, it could be Jeannot.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna go Zadorov. I don't want it to be. I would much rather it be. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go off the board. I'm gonna say it's Mark Kastelik.
Do I have to say it again?
Kastelik.
Kastelik.
I'm going to say it's Mark Kastelik. I told you I'm going to keep doing it. Eventually, it will stick, but there's too many places where I hear incorrect name pronunciations that I end up falling back into some of the wrong ones. But yeah, Kastelik. I will go with him. Who do you think ends the team leading with PIMS?
I'm laughing at Kevin.
I literally made a poll saying who will be the first goal scorer in Kraken history, and all the options were Donato. I remember that, Kevin. I do remember that.
So I'm going a little bit out of the box, and for
you also have to give your first goal scorer too.
Right. So my first goal scorer, that's where I'm going out of the box. I am going with Kastelik.
Okay.
As my first goal scorer.
Okay.
Okay. For my seventh player, I am going with Tanner Jeannot.
Okay.
Because I think that the amount of people that are upset with that signing, and I think he's going to be solid. I don't think he's going to be light your hair on fire, but he's solid enough that people are going to be like, okay.
Yeah, I think him and Easymont are going to be the two guys that you look at and you go, oh, they played 80 games this year.
Right.
I didn't even realize it. And they were, they were the leaders in the physicality department. Not that Zadorov won't be, but everybody expects it from Zadorov.
Sorry. And then for my I think it's going to be Zadorov that leads the team in penalty minutes.
Kevin says his first goal scorer is Morgan Geekie. Seventh player is Middlestat.
I'd like to see Middlestat be the second, be the seventh player award, because I think
we almost had our first goal.
Dude, are you delayed?
I'm at 11:53.
Oh, you're ahead of me then.
I said almost. It didn't go in. Yeah, it sounds like you're at the part that I was just at.
Yeah.
Certainly explains why when I looked up when you said what a pass, I was like, they're not passing it right now.
Oh, it was the pass through the.
I'll try not to give anything away.
Yeah.
And Kevin says I also have Zadorov on PIMS.
Yeah.
Man, Hampus is not holding back. He is skating so well again. I love to see it. Oh, that almost went in.
Are they showing a replay, or am I missing something?
Yeah, they're showing a replay.
Yeah. See, I'm still live.
Yeah, for me, they just dropped the puck in the offensive zone
Yeah, that
at
was
11:03.
I just can't believe I have to deal with Paul Bissonnette again this year.
I'd say it could be worse, but I don't
Nothing's
know.
worse than Paul Bissonnette.
To
I
me,
know people like him. I don't
I,
find him entertaining at all.
the
When
big
you
thing for
have
me is they just hammer away too much at some of the bits that, you know what I mean? Like,
But when
they
you have
try.
hockey minds like Wayne Gretzky, Henrik Lundqvist, and Anson Carter, and then you throw in that idiot.
I love watching Henrik Lundqvist break down, although Dylan Dubnyk does a good job of it too, when they break down the goaltending and the way they do that. But yeah, it just again, he tries too hard, in my opinion, to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
And if he just
If he
New
was just
England,
an
if he just
analyst, he may not be so bad.
yeah, if he just did the job of, hey, I have a story, I have this.
I'll answer Kevin's question.
Ooh, he says, what are your early thoughts on Sturm?
I'm very excited for what I believe he's going to do. I think that he's going to infuse youth with the veterans. And because of the fact that, one, he knows what it's like to play in Boston.
Yes.
Two, he has experience as an assistant in the NHL level and a head coach in the AHL level. And now he's at the NHL level. I think that he's going to be closer to what Cassidy was than Montgomery.
Yeah. And I will say too, I think it was Pasternak's media availability, or he was getting interviewed in the locker room. It was one of the comments that he made. Oh, you're getting your little thumbs up bubble again. It just went away. You're the little thumbs up bubble that you got.
But I didn't do it.
I know, it was just randomly on the screen. I haven't figured out why it happens. Kevin says his name is Paul, belongs in a bassinet.
Yeah.
No, there was a comment that Pasternak had made during one of his media sit downs in the locker room. He talked about the camp feeling this year versus the way it's been in the past. And he talked about how the intensity was there again this year. And it's something that had been faltering in years past, which means not just last year, which means how much did, and we've already heard Montgomery basically admit he came in and didn't have to coach because Bergeron and Marchand and those guys were here. So, and I understand that Bergeron and Chara had a way of doing things, and that's not lost on me. But when your coach isn't the one driving the bus, and the captain is the one who's driving the bus, it is very different. I don't care what they say. Yes, Bergeron can be the first one up in any drill and go all in. Marchand can do the same thing. But when the coach isn't helping drive the intensity, a lot of players can look at that and go, if the coach doesn't care, why the hell should I? And that changes the entire dynamic.
Well, and you have to look at the fact that you also went from having Bergeron and Krejci in your camp to just Brad Marchand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's a lot of differences there too, and nothing to take away from Brad Marchand. You can put me in. You know, a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, she's just saying that now." I wasn't sold on him being captain.
No, I know you weren't. I remember we talked a lot about it at the time. I know you
think
weren't.
that they gave it to him because they felt they had to. Like Bergeron earned the captaincy. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
that Marchand earned the captaincy. I think they gave it to him because they're like, well, he's next in line. He didn't earn it. And you could see, and I don't know, there was just something different about that intensity when you had a captain like Chara and a captain like Bergeron, and then you go to Marchand.
Right. Kevin adds, you also didn't have your goaltender in a contract war.
That's true.
Yeah, but that was just last season. Like that was the only season in which you had to deal with it. I'm talking the years
No, but
prior.
that was a huge thing last year.
Absolutely,
And
it
last
was.
year's camp was the worst it's been in years.
But we also know that, I mean, we know Montgomery had half his foot out the door at that point.
Correct.
And we know that there was bad blood on the whole coach's contract, not having an extension, all that stuff. So it wasn't just, I mean, I think it was more Montgomery's contract issue than it was
No, they
Swayman's.
both played a part in it, because when you don't have your number one goaltender, even though the players will say it wasn't a distraction, it was, you know what I mean? Like, because you're thinking about it, you're like, when is he gonna get here? When is he gonna get here? Are we going into this season with just Corpusalo? You know what I mean? So whether or not they were mad at Swayman, because I don't believe they were ever mad at Swayman.
No, I think it was
But
more of that we
the
have to keep
questions
handling
lingered.
this.
But the questions lingered, like, when is he going to be here?
And if
What
and
jersey are you wearing, by the way?
this one is actually a custom one, and my nameplate fell off.
Oh,
Long story behind the jerseys, but this is the one that fits me the best still. So custom jersey though, and it fit.
I was looking at my jerseys. I'm like, I don't know which one to put on, so I just have my T-shirt on, and of course, it's Savard.
I actually have a couple in my closet as well. A couple of them can get hung up, but I'm still trying to figure out what to do with one of them. Hat Trick Hobby is my friend John Hendren. He gave me one a while back that I've been trying to do some sort of giveaway for, but I have not been able to come up with the right way of doing that. But
Yeah.
it is a Marchand jersey. And then I also I had gotten a friend of mine a Tyler Seguin jersey, and then they traded him, so she basically gave it back. And at the time, I then followed up by getting her a customized one.
Those are just those are my hung-ups.
I don't have quite the extensive collection.
Wait, hold on. I'm not done. Those are my autographed hung-ups.
Nice.
I'm still not done.
Why am I not surprised? I also have a Thomas Noshik jersey. Go figure. My entire family got them for Christmas the year he was on the team. And I have a signed Noah Hannafin Carolina jersey in my closet as well.
Then I have all these.
Oh my.
That's my Eichel.
Oh, Eichel.
My USA Eichel.
Oh,
I have
that's
my Sway Centennial. This is another autographed.
Yeah, that one's got a lot of autos on it though. Real quick, Kevin adds to our Marchand conversation. He says he's a great guy for your locker room, but not a captain. Never saw him as such and thought it would have went straight to Pastrnak. There's the pasta jersey.
There's another pasta.
Is that the Winter Classic one?
Nope. The
alternate.
Yeah. The Marchand alternate. Before he was named captain.
Of course.
And I got a Bergeron alternate.
Do you have a Pooh Bear one?
Marchand. Another Bergeron. Do I have a Pooh Bear?
There it is. Is that the reverse retro?
Reverse retro.
Bergeron.
I think I have 5 Bergeron jerseys, if not more.
Oh wow. Wow. That's solid. I know we should be getting Kenny in here at some point soon. I know he was just able to start getting logged on a little while ago, so hopefully we can bring him on.
And
Eruzione. Oh, that's a good throwback. Nice little USA jersey there. It is going to be interesting. Speaking of the USA, it is going to be interesting to see how so many things shift because of the Olympics this year with all the players that are going to be going back. Kevin says the last jersey he got was oh come on. There we
McAvoy
go.
Centennial.
Was McAvoy Centennial. Sorry. As soon as I clicked it, it brought up a menu and it almost let me block Kevin, which I didn't want to do. And then, of course, it covered up the name at the same time. So,
yeah, the last jersey I got was, I think, the Eichel USA. My husband wanted to get me McAvoy, and they weren't available.
I mean, was that after he got hurt?
No, it was at the start of 4 Nations.
Oh,
they
okay.
just weren't available. So he was like, "Do you like Jack Eichel?" I'm like, "I love Jack Eichel."
Oh, here we go. Told you we were going to try to get him in here. Kenny,
hey, what's up?
Welcome
Kenny?
aboard.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
I told him no, but he didn't listen to me.
If anything, I'm the one who would have been like, I'm doing a show with him tomorrow. I'll see him then.
I'm too much to have twice a week. You only once.
Yeah, we'll keep the recording going and we'll just do tomorrow's episode tonight.
Kevin, they haven't said a third jersey.
Oh yeah, they haven't. What did you guys think of the reveal that LA did for their third uniform last night? Did you guys see it?
I was at a concert last night. We had this conversation.
You could have gotten home and watched it. I don't know what time you got home from the concert.
I got home at 20:11.
Okay, you would have missed it then. Kenny, did you see it at least?
No, I was not honed in on the Kings Avs game, unfortunately. I spent all my attention on the first 2 games, and by the third one I was like, I need to go to bed.
You have to ramp back into your hockey season.
Yeah, it was a little too much. I had to, DoorDash a Red Bull. I had to get back into the swing of things here.
DoorDash a Red Bull. Third world problems, man.
Yeah, truly.
No one knew they were going to unveil the third uniform. In fact, all of the intros, like all of the pregame video stuff on the Jumbotron was pre-recorded. And so it was all them in their regular home jersey. They came out in warm-ups and wore their regular home jersey. And then when they all went back into the locker room, they changed into the third jersey and came out for the game in the third jersey.
So they wore the third jersey last night? Is that what it was?
Yep.
Oh, well, I guess I'll just watch highlights.
Kevin says, did not expect this shot count being so low this deep into the first period. Well,
I did.
I was going to say, the Bruins are going to be a great team to bet the under on shots all year.
Well, not only that, but I think that their defense is really keeping Washington to the perimeter.
Yeah, for and against. Let me be clear on that. For and against. That's what happens when you build from the net out. You don't want shots getting through to your guy. And actually, I know we talked a bit about – we barely talked about Beecher being on the roster. We talked a lot more about VL being on the roster. Kevin says Higgins is going to look so sexy in these Bruins unis.
We're not going back to Bruins after dark. Kenny, you missed it.
Yeah. What I miss?
Well, I said the white jerseys go so hard because they do. The white jerseys are just phenomenal. And Kevin asked if the white jerseys make me hard. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, and so Sully called it "What's Brewing After Dark." So
Wow, I
that's
should have been on
that's the
for
version
that.
of the show Dom's grandson can't watch.
No.
I'm not even sure Kenny's old enough to watch it.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
No, I was going to ask you what you guys thought of Beecher making the team as an extra forward. I know a lot of people have kind of been up in the air about it, but Gayle, you and I touched a little bit on the fact that he is such a significant part of the PK at times. But just in general, I wanted to see if you guys had any more thoughts on it, because something happened in that Avs Kings game last night that really stood out, and it made me sit there and go, Beecher's a crucial role in this exact situation.
I mean, I honestly like what Beecher can bring. I feel like people are a little upset because he doesn't score goals, but you knew that. I think he has other values, right? Being that fourth line center. I'm not going to talk about the face-offs because I know if Dom's listening, he's going to shoot that right down and be like, it's only 54%. Don't get overhyped about it. So I won't say it, but it's a perk. He does bring that value to the PK. So there is value in having John Beecher as an extra forward. If he's not playing every night, I don't know why people care that much. God forbid Patrick Brown steps in, then we're gonna have problems. The Bruins fans are gonna have problems, but Beecher, it's just not that big a deal.
Gayle, Kevin says, I can't get you going again. Don't need you getting hard.
Oh my God.
And then he says, Ovi's starting to look like Michael Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. Ovi is. That's a funny comparison. No, last night though, in the third period of the game, the Kings were down by 3 goals, and this was about 10 minutes left in the game. So enough time where they could mount a comeback, right? And then they take a power play and they have to kill it off. Less than a minute into that power play, they take another penalty. And so then they have to kill off the 5-on-3. They give up a total of 3 shots in that entire, sorry, first it was back-to-back power plays. They gave up 3 shots on 2 power plays that were less than 3 minutes apart. Then came the 5-on-3 for what lasted, I want to say it was like 43, 45 seconds. Between those 4 power plays, in less than 5 minutes of time of less than actual game time of 5 minutes, they only allowed 1 goal, keeping them in the game.
Wow.
And that's a moment. And of course, that's a moment where they're keeping Kopitar out there. They're keeping Doughty out there. Like, they're throwing their best out there just to kill the penalty. And that's where having a depth guy like a John Beecher who knows your PK system in and out, that's where he's going to show his value.
You said you guys talked about VL. I'd love to know what was said. I'm actually a huge fan of VL being on the team. I think that he's a great addition. I thought last season he was one of those players that could be great on the fourth line. I know this team has a ton of fourth liners, so it is difficult. But VL, he has that skill. I feel like people were surprised to see him, in front of the net making moves and stuff like that. I know he didn't score, but he's also one of those guys that's hard on the forecheck, pain in the ass to play against. I was all for it, but I know other fans were pissed to see him on the roster. So
we talked about my thing, Kenny, and I agree with you. Like, and I think Chris agreed too, is that it's not that he doesn't have skill, right? But when you look at him compared to a player like Blumel or Patra, who would you rather be okay with coming in on the fourth line, getting low minutes, or being up on the ninth floor?
Yeah, I mean,
you want Potter and Blumel getting those minutes down in Providence. You want them playing and getting better, learning the system and getting better so that they can come up and when they come into the lineup, make an impact. He can make an impact in the bottom 6. You don't want them in your bottom 6, right? So to say that he doesn't deserve to be in the lineup over Poitras or be on the roster of a Poitras, you're not thinking about Poitras's development. You're only thinking about you want him here now.
Yeah, I feel like that goes back to, the Riley Tufte and the Patrick Brown argument of last year. Someone gets injured and then Patrick Brown gets called up and people are pissed off and they're like, why isn't Poitras here? Why isn't Lysell here? Why isn't Merkulov here? And it's like, well, yeah, you're not going to have these guys sit on the ninth floor. You're not going to have these guys play the fourth line. Like, this is just what it is.
Right.
Unfortunately, I would say I would take Blumel or Poitras maybe on the third line. I think I texted Chris like the last preseason game. I was like, if Minton's gonna play like that, it's his spot. He's the only one that really was, showed that he earned it if he's gonna make plays like he did to Zadorov.
Right.
But it's tough because I feel like the team would benefit from a spark plug like Poitras. I felt like Poitras did a nice job setting plays up. It wasn't, so good that I was like, oh my God, he needs to be here. But I think if you're a team that's struggling to score, having Poitras in the lineup would be a benefit. And that's nothing against Minton. I think that he was probably earned the spot over Poitras, but the way that this team is constructed, this is probably where they should have went or where I would have went.
But I would argue too that Minton can be used up and down the lineup where Poitras is kind of limited because of the lack of defense that he has, that Minton has. Not that he's a horrible defensive forward, but I think Minton is a step above him that he could play in all situations.
Yeah, I think the way I would put it is the distance between, or the amount of growth that Minton has in his offensive game is probably not as extensive as the amount of growth that Poitras's defensive game requires.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think, Kenny, you saw there was a question. Someone had asked a question on Twitter about, the Poitras Minton debate. And really what it comes down to is how are you interpreting what they're doing on the ice? Because in the role, like you said, that Minton is in, Minton's the better fit. That's like asking, who's better, Charlie Coyle or David Krejci? Well, they're both good at what they do. If you flip-flopped them into opposite roles, they would look like they suck because David Krejci's not a third-line centerman, and Charlie Coyle is not the guy that you're going to pair on a second line in the role that you had Krejci. So putting them in the right spots was crucial. That doesn't mean offensively, Krejci was significantly better, but defensively, Coyle was significantly better. That doesn't mean Krejci didn't play defense. He was very, very good. He was extremely good. But the gap between Krejci's defense,
that's not apples and oranges. That's not apples to apples. That's apples and oranges. If you want to compare centers like that, you can't compare David Krejci to Charlie Coyle. No.
Okay, who would you want to compare?
Then? Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha. They're more comparable to each other.
But that's kind of my point is Matthew Poitras and Fraser Minton play a different game at center.
Right.
They are an apples and oranges.
But David Krejci didn't have defensive liabilities at all. There was no liability in his game.
But you weren't putting him in a third line role.
If you had, if he's healthy and he's the best, then he's in first or second. Absolutely 100%. But when you're saying that he wasn't as good defensively as Charlie Coyle, that's where I draw the line. David Krejci was so much, and there's nothing against Charlie Coyle. I like Charlie Coyle, but David Krejci's here and Charlie Coyle's down here. For all around 3 zones, there's no comparison.
My point being, though, is the difference between Krejci's defensive game and Coyle's offensive game. There's a lot more growth for Coyle's offensive game than there was for Krejci's
because Krejci didn't need growth.
No.
That's the whole point.
Oh, I didn't even realize Kevin was still here. He said that David Krejci should have been the Bruins' first-line center. I will stand on this argument. Kevin, he was their first-line center.
Yeah.
He was their first.
It wasn't until he stepped away that Bergeron took over the 1C.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it historically, Krejci's line was the top line.
Yeah. I mean, Bergeron-Marchand line was the popular line.
Right. Well,
But-
it was like they were 1A and 1B. You know what I mean? Because when you look at those two lines when they were solid, it didn't matter.
Yeah. I mean,
The
think
only
about all
difference
those
is
wasted years of.
the biggest difference was the Bergeron-Marchand line had more of that gritty, hard to play against, where the Krejci line had a little bit more finesse.
Yeah. No, Kevin, I would say that he was not he should have been. He was the first line center.
The only problem that David Krejci had is that after he lost Nathan Horton, he didn't have a wing.
No.
They never gave David Krejci a wing.
And yeah, I mean that line when he had it was Lucic and Horton.
Yeah.
And after that, it was just a rotisserie of just a rotary. Kevin says no, Krejci was a second line center after it was pulled out from under him. He was the second line center up until he stepped away and then he returned. No, that's how it was put on the sheet. But he was their top center.
It wasn't until Horton and Luch left that's when he moved. That's when he more got shifted down because they couldn't find him a wing that was consistent the way Bergeron had Marchand.
Yeah. His pair, he just didn't have a pair.
Even after 2011, Bergeron not only had Marchand, but then he had Sagan for another couple of years. You know what I mean? So it was that they were a trio. Krejci had rotating wings. Like they never found him until Pasternak. You know what I mean? And
then they took Pasternak away and moved him up.
Right. And then by that time, they put Pasternak up with Bergeron and Marchand because whatever. And it wasn't until Bergeron and then Krejci came out of retirement, basically, that
Kevin says, so David Krejci was our first line center and getting more minutes than Bergie in we are not calling it the perfection line.
No, and the other thing is too, is it was Krejci was your number one center up until again, Nathan Horton and Milan Lucic were gone. He was still you know what I mean? But once they were gone and they kept rotating through his wings, he lost his ability to be out there first. It was Bergeron and Marchand because that pairing never faltered from 2011 on.
Yeah. No, it was the pairing that carried you. And as a collective, that's why they, were the default first line because like you said, they just didn't get split up.
All right.
So
I'm going to let you guys chat for a minute.
All righty. Are you coming back?
Yeah, no, I'll be right back.
Okay. When she comes back, I'll pull her back up on the screen here. So, you excited for the season, Kenny?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the season. I mean, I know our season has started already a little bit. We've been watching some QMJHL games, some OHL games, stuff like that. College started as well. I know we were texting through a ton of games this weekend, so our season has definitely started.
Our season started. Oh yeah, our season started well before.
Yeah,
so, and Jason points out they got Nash for Krejci, but then he retired. And as Kevin points out, yeah, he had the terrible concussion and just bad injury luck. That was brutal. Of course, you were 12 when that happened. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
you remember Rick Nash?
No, I mean, I remember Rick Nash as a Bruin. I remember him as a Ranger. I remember him being crazy good as a Ranger. I remember that goals race that he had with I forgot who. I'm definitely not qualified at all to talk about 2011. I remember them winning the cup, but I was also like 4 or 5 years old, so can't really say too much on that.
Yeah. You don't remember much about Tyler Seguin, do you?
I remember Tyler Seguin. I remember Tyler Seguin getting traded, but I remember Tyler Seguin being a Dallas Star. That's my Tyler Seguin. I do remember him being a Bruin, but my Tyler Seguin wears a Stars uniform. So
Kevin says, but Krejci was better offensively than Berge. Absolutely. He wasn't Berge defensively. Of course not. No one is Berge defensively, but he was also very good. Absolutely. We were blessed to have both, but in my opinion, Krejci should have been the number one. If he had a consistent winger, he probably would have been more favored to be that number one, Kevin. But between the two, he was definitely fine. Fans don't designate him as the 1C, but they should have, and he should have been. Absolutely. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this second period getting started. Hopefully we can find a few more shots on net because, well, without Blumel, I think we just cut our shots on goal in half. And we got Gayle back here.
Yeah, I'm back.
I hope we can get some shots on goal in the second period here.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys talked about people getting sent down. Was there any shock that anybody wasn't claimed? I know Chris and I
From
talked
us,
about it.
no. From the rest of the world, there was plenty. So I got to take my little victory lap on DiPietro get clearing. So
yeah, people fought tooth and nail on that. I remember scrolling through Twitter, you getting into a few arguments over DiPietro getting claimed or not getting claimed. There was a lot of good goalies on the market that day.
Well, and the other thing too, Kenny, is that we talked about is that the fact of the timing, that the Bruins didn't make their cuts until Sunday, and that was huge. There, like Chris said, there was like 43 people on the waiver wire that day.
I think that day alone there was 4 or 5 goaltenders.
Yeah,
DiPietro obviously included in that, but like the way they timed it, obviously teams knew he would likely be put on waivers, but they had to know and be prepared to keep him on their NHL roster. Otherwise, they wouldn't have him. So it's not like they could take him and go, oh, well, like when Connor Ingram cleared, everybody knew that Utah still wanted to move on from him and give him that fresh start somewhere else. Everyone knew the player wanted it. So when he cleared waivers, everyone was shocked. But no one looked at his contract and went, who wants to take on this contract under these conditions off the waiver wire? If you let him clear and he's in, what is it, Arizona? Are they still
Tucson?
Tucson, thank you. If he's in Tucson already and he's cleared the waiver wire, now you're making a deal that you can do things like salary retention because that's what they did. You don't have to trade a lot for him because the player and the team both want the change to happen, and he doesn't have to clear waivers again. It was the right move for all the parties, and they did it early enough. It was the second day of training camp where he got put on the waiver wire. He cleared the next day, and he was traded for the next day. It gave Edmonton plenty of time to make a deal. And why do you think the deal was for future considerations? Because they were like, we'll figure the deal out later. Because it wasn't important. Kenny, you saw that Eichel has extended, right?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Kyle Connor.
They're doing the interview with Eichel right now, and that's what made me think of it. Kyle Connor got his extension. So guess what? It's another year of all the big scorers who are going to be available on free agency staying put.
Yeah, I feel like that was something that people should have probably seen coming, especially with the salary cap going up. Feels like a lot of teams now have more money, so to sign these guys. I know people were going back and forth on Eichel. I know some people really thought that there was a chance that he was coming to Boston, which there's always a chance, but there's not, a good enough chance where I feel the need to tweet about it, but some people do. Yeah, I don't know. it's going to be another light year for the free agency market, it seems.
Yeah, I'm looking right now to see if I can figure out who's going to be hitting for the upcoming season. Let's see. 2026 UFAs. Right now, the big one now is Panarin and Natchez. Because let's face it, Ovi's not going anywhere. If he's gonna stay. I think the names we'll hear will be Alex Tuck a lot because a lot of Bruins fans like him. But I mean, there's also not a lot. I mean,
Can we go? Can I want to ask Kenny's thoughts on the press conference?
Go for it.
Oh, well, I didn't watch the full press conference, but I did see the reoccurring quote on Twitter that everybody's talking about. Cam Neely saying the bottom six needed more piss and vinegar, which is interesting. Me personally, again, I thought that wasn't the problem. I thought the problem was that the team wasn't scoring. But again, what do I know? I'm not Cam Neely, so. But I mean, last year I didn't really think the compete was like that much of an issue. Like I wasn't looking at the fourth line saying these guys aren't battling hard enough. I never looked at Mark Kastelic and was like, yeah, no, he needs more. He needs more piss and vinegar in his game. So I felt like that was something that stood out.
I think the whole team needed more piss and vinegar. If you look at the first 20 games of the season, right, under Montgomery, where was the compete?
It was almost non-existent.
It was almost non-existent, right? Then they got it a little bit until Christmas. Then McAvoy gets hurt. Well, then Hampus Lindholm gets hurt. Then McAvoy gets hurt. Then Marchand gets hurt. Where was the compete? The only person that was competing every night was Morgan Geekie and David Pastrnak. They were giving up too many goals. So and notoriously the Bruins don't give up a lot of goals, right? And they did last year. And a lot of it had to do with Swayman and the defense in front of him. But also the defensive forwards weren't playing their game. They didn't have that compete. They didn't have that. They weren't a hard out. They were giving up goals late. They were soft.
Yeah. And
Kenny
that was also
agree. You don't agree, Kenny?
I feel like it's hard to pin that or even. I mean, it's not that I don't agree, but I feel like the defense and Swayman had a lot to do with it. I mean, like I said, I don't disagree, but at the end of the day, right, you're still going to lose a game. You're still going to lose the game 1-0. Like you got to hope Pasta still does his thing. Like if that first line doesn't score, then
right. But
I'm not really convinced.
If you can hold the opposing team to one goal and you're offensive anemic, you have a better chance of winning the game than giving up 4 to 5 goals a night. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, Kevin, I don't like pissing my vinegar. And then he says, don't say hard. This is truly what's brewing after dark. So
yeah, this is
I think we all can agree though, this team last year had a scoring problem. They couldn't do it. And then Kenny, my question to you is I agree. They should have tried to add scoring. But who? Who could they have added this offseason? Name a player who was traded or who actually switched teams, not one that was rumored to, one that actually switched teams via trade, or a free agent who they realistically could have gotten to help improve the scoring.
I don't want to see. The thing is there is no guarantees, right? There is no guarantees. I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it lightly because I think you did, right? You got Blumel. He's not a surefire thing. Not 100%, right? You don't know what you're going to get from him in the NHL, but that's a guy who, even though he didn't have the best preseason, I would have liked to see kind of start the season in the NHL. Same with Matt Patra. I think that would have been a good thing to have him in the NHL if you need to add that scoring, because you're right, it wasn't on the market. There was nothing realistic last season. but you do have these two guys who have proven that they can do it. They did it in the AHL. Now it's their chance to prove it in the NHL. These are two wild cards where if they can figure it out in the NHL, the upside for this team is going to be massive, huge. So
Yes, and
that's what I would say.
To your point, they are AHL scorers,
That's
and
fine.
they were brought into camp. All good?
No, hold on.
Okay. Well, let's just sort everything out, and as soon as I see her back, we'll bring her back on. They were given a chance. They were brought into camp. They were given a chance, and none of them scored in the preseason. You got one goal out of Blumel, and he led the team.
Sorry.
There we go.
Sorry. Family's going to bed.
That's okay. We'll let them do that, I guess. We don't sleep around here, Kenny and I at least. We just stay up and talk hockey all night. So
no, I'll never forget 2 a.m. watching the Ducks just thrash the Bruins. Patrick Brown leading the team in shots. What a night.
Oh, that was brutal.
Never forget.
Oh man, I want to, but I won't.
No, never.
No, it just like I said, you gave Blumel a chance. He shot the puck more than anyone in this preseason, and he found the back of the net one time. Now, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about the waiver process because people panic when he's sent down. Well, he has a 30-day window now. If you call him back up, 30 days on the roster or 10 games. If he comes in and plays 10 games and plays well, you're not sending him back down. If he comes in and he goes in and out of the lineup over 5 or 6 games and plays well, then you can extend that out to the remaining amount of games. If he doesn't play well, then you can send him back down and he doesn't have to clear waivers again. And you have that 30-day window to do it. So I think putting him on waivers was the right move because now you can move him up and down for the next month. And, obviously as needed based on IR spots and all that stuff. Your biggest risk right now of putting someone on IR on waivers during the season is Jeffrey Vielle. Like, I'm not that worried if you lose him. Maybe it's John Beecher, but if you get to a point where you're putting Beecher on waivers during the season, it's not that big a deal.
Listen, I never said it was the best. You asked for an answer. I'm like, this is what you have. This is the best option, unfortunately. And if that's the risk that you need to take.
What a bad pass for Washington. Sorry, Washington just cleared the zone themselves.
That is difficult on a 5-on-3 too.
Yeah. Kevin. Oh, and they just did it again. Kevin says this team's last year's biggest issue was a leadership problem. Our captain acted like a child. No one else wanted to step up and lead. Pastrnak stepped up after the trade deadline and showed me he's our captain.
So, to be fair to Pastrnak, he's never been a vocal player. He's kind of always been in the shadows because he's always had Bergeron, Krejci, Char. You know what I mean? He's had those other leaders. When Charlie Coyle got traded, Brad Marchand's injured, McAvoy's injured, Hampus Lindholm, he had no choice.
He was the guy.
He got thrust into it, and he really embraced it. He really, I remember being in the locker room with him and him just really embracing the leadership, the not calling his teammates out, but being the leader that they lacked, you know what I mean? Being that voice. And he really, it changed because he's always said that he didn't want the C. But I'm not saying that he wants the C now, but it's definitely changed his perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I think he does want it now.
I'm not sure. I think he would be fine if McAvoy got the C. I think he would be absolutely fine just being an A. I don't think that he feels, and again, I like Brad Marchand, but I don't think he feels he's entitled to it the way Marchand thought he was entitled to it.
That's fair. Do you think it was a feeling of entitlement or just feeling like I guess that would be entitlement.
Oh, it's
Like,
100% entitlement.
yeah.
100% entitlement. When you
Yeah.
have a player that, how many times was Brad suspended?
Way too many.
Right.
I don't even know if you can
For
count them on two
stupid
hands.
stuff too. Like not even for hockey plays, for stupid stuff.
Yes.
Talk about crossing a line.
But he rewrote the line.
And then he matured a little bit and he towed that line and he played a lot more like the player that fans could be proud of. You know what I mean? Not just their rat, but you could be proud of him. You know what I mean? And then, but it's still, I still believe that the Bruins went, well, he's next in line. He's getting the C. I don't think he earned it. And I know there's a lot of Bruins fans out there that disagree, that think that he 100% earned it. I don't, following his career from day one to the day he got traded, I don't see where he earned the C.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting a little bit. Obviously, this year I'm going to be doing a lot more with Bridgeport, and they had an abysmal last season, as I'm sure Chris knows.
We talked about it.
We even had Joey on here talking about it as well, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if it probably wasn't on this, but on other things, we did have Joey talk about it, and they brought in a new head coach. And the first thing that was asked is, how are you going to change this culture? And one of the things that he said that stuck out to me, Rocky Thompson, the new coach of Bridgeport, was he said the younger players need to lead on the ice, but they need to allow the veterans to lead in the locker room. And then they need to take that with them wherever they go. And if they stay, once they have Chris Terry leave or retire or whatever, then those guys step up, because that's the important thing. And that's how you kind of bring that culture, is taking everything that you learn from when you are, a rookie, right? And you put your own twist on it, and then you give it to the other guys. They know what they have in Bridgeport. They know Chris Terry's an AHL legend. They have Ethan Bear. They know he's an AHL legend. They know how to win. They want these young guys to sit there. They want you to lead on the ice, but in the locker room, just listen. And because they know the value of having just those guys around and taking in all that, that's how you build that culture. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, David Pastrnak has been around with some of the best captains to ever play hockey. So, people, I don't know what we were talking about. I kind of went off a little bit because it just reminded me of something. But same with Marchand, right? He was around all that. So,
right, Marchand was around it, but unfortunately, like if you go back and listen to some of the interviews with Bergeron, and you talk about the type of player that Marchand was, like Bergeron has said point blank, there were times where he couldn't believe some of the crap that Marchand pulled.
Yeah.
So just having a player like Chara or Bergeron doesn't mean you embody what they brought forth. You know what I mean? Like Charlie McAvoy didn't play with Chara all that long because Chara got, the Bruins said, we're not going to re-sign you. He went to Washington, went to the Islanders, then retired. You know what I mean? But even in that short time of being with Chara, he learned more about being a captain than Brad Marchand did in the entire time that Brad Marchand played with Chara.
I would think so. Yeah, it just makes sense there. And Kevin adds in,
it's just who the players are. And again, I love Brad Marchand, but there were times where I was disgusted by Brad Marchand. I was never disgusted by Pastrnak. I was never disgusted by McAvoy, Bergeron, Krejci. Charlie Coyle, you know what I mean? But there were times where I was like, take off your rose-colored glasses. Brad Marchand is a dirty player, you know what I mean? And there was a time where he was.
Yeah, as Kevin says, I cannot put my C on a player with the rap sheet of Marchand. I love him, but the licking and the bumpy pass, the dangerous play does not send a good message to your locker room. And he adds to that, if a guy who did all that can be captain, where do we draw the line? It turns that C into nothing more than just a letter, not a leader of the franchise.
And it's unfortunate because he did change for a short period of time to where he could have been a great leader. But I don't think that he knew how to be. Like, when he was an A, he was either with Chara or Bergeron as his captain.
And I think we're seeing we're seeing him do those same things right now in Florida. He's not wearing the C. He's not even wearing the A. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the personality that made people and fans enjoy having Marchand here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to make him be successful on the ice is he's able to be himself. Right. If you go back to the time where he was the captain here,
nice save.
He always felt like he was trying to be extra button up, trying to be extra uptight and like make sure he said the right thing. You know what I mean? And now he is able to just go out and do Marchand things.
Well,
like
not only that,
who he is as a person.
Not only that, but the franchise isn't pinning the offense on him and one other player.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I still say he's in Florida. He's on the third line in Florida. If he was still in Boston, he's not a third line winger.
Right. No, absolutely. That part plays a factor in it too.
That changes a lot of things too.
Yeah. But without Barkov and without Tkachuk this start the season, they are going to rely on him more just because they know he can do it. And
well, they're gonna rely on him not necessarily for the offense aspect of it, but that tenacity that Florida has.
Absolutely. The tone setting. He'll help set the tone, and he brings offense with it. It's not he sets the tone because of his offense. That's what David Pastrnak does. That's what a Connor McDavid does.
Right.
And Kevin adds in we're talking about a change of maybe 2 to 3 years before getting that C. His past outweighs the change.
Right. So. I honestly believe that when Bergeron retired, they went, well, it's Marchand's next in line.
Yeah.
I don't think that they really thought. I mean, how many people were shocked that he got the C?
Outside of Boston, a lot.
Right, outside of Boston. And the fans in Boston, 9 times out of 10, they overlook the past that Kevin's talking about, the past that I'm talking about. And they just look at the scoring. They don't look at the other stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, it also was a little bit of a shock, too, when you had a guy like Brandon Carlo, Charlie McAvoy, Hampus Lindholm, even Pastrnak, like you said, wasn't really in the running at the time, but that's Kevin says that's exactly what happened. Their minds were made up. And I think that the press conference that we were referencing earlier, it was truly the most honest press conference in 4, 5, 6 years, as you said. Yeah. Breath of fresh air. They just weren't, there was no BS to it.
Right. And I still go back to the interview I did with Mark Recchi last year, because for the whole entire season, people were complaining about Zadorov, right? And Don Sweeney never wavered from the fact that the reason why they went out and got Zadorov is because in a 7-game series, he's hard to play against, right? Yep. And everyone's like, well, you got to make it to the playoffs. Well, yes, you have to make it to the playoffs, but he's not the reason why you didn't make it to the playoffs, right? We can all agree on the fact that Nikita Zadorov is not the reason why they didn't make it to the playoffs.
I don't think he hits the top 5.
Right, exactly. But when you talk about, now you look at this lineup and you talk about piss and vinegar, right? That's what Cam Neely has said, piss and vinegar. Look at the Panthers. What are they?
They're piss and vinegar with scoring.
Correct. So the Bruins were lacking that secondary scoring. Like we talked about, we talk about that all the time, right, Chris? They have Pasternak, and then they had Geeky. So now if Geeky continues his consistency, so now you have those two. If Arvidsson can get, into the 15-20 goal range, you get Zaka into that 15-20 goal range. So now you're building that offense. You're building that secondary scoring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you need that piss and vinegar to go with it?
Oh, yeah.
To beat a team like Florida?
Yeah.
And if you have to play out of your division, what do you have to do? You've got to beat a team like Florida.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that Don Sweeney said, was that we have to be able to beat the Panthers because right now they're at the top of the league.
And you know what? A team that's built very similarly is Vegas.
Right. But Florida went to the Stanley Cup 3 years in a row. Lost the first time, won the last 2.
Yep.
3 years in a row. It's just like when Tampa Bay kept going to the Stanley Cup, people were like, well, how do we mirror what Tampa Bay is doing?
You know who else is starting to shift the same way?
Now it's Florida's turn.
As I say, you know who else is shifting the same way is Toronto.
Right.
Because if they were worried about the finesse game, they would have thrown more money at Mitch Marner than they did.
Right.
Because they would have prioritized the scoring. Instead, they reached a point, and I do think the player didn't want to be there to some degree as well.
100% Mitch Marner did not want to be in Toronto.
That is a massive part of it. But
they also went out and got Craig Berube as a coach.
They got Berube as a coach. They got what's his name back from Vegas in that sign and trade. I'm blanking on the name. They went out. They got Brandon Carlo from Boston. Mm-hmm. They've revamped their bottom 6. They have Domi extended there. They've got a bunch of They went out and got Dakota Joshua this year for the physicality and scoring in their bottom 6. Like, they're doing it too,
right?
Because they know they have to get through Florida as well. So we still can't generate shots worth of shit, though.
Getting opportunities. Arvidsson had a breakaway, just another 3-on-1 that just didn't work. But
I think the offense is one of those things where once it clicks, they'll start to break through. And I'm not saying they're going to be 4, 5, 6 goals a game, but they'll be able to win games 3-1, 3-2. You know what I mean? Like they will probably average somewhere in that 2.5, 2.8 goals per game for area once the offense clicks.
Well, the other thing is they have to stay out of the box.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
You can't. I mean, they've been on the penalty kill
3 times, 4 times.
4 times, including a 5-on-3, an abbreviated 5-on-3. But they've been on the penalty kill 4 times, abbreviated 5-on-3. You can't get into a 5-on-5 rhythm if you're in the box.
No, you can't. Kevin says that was the strangest 3-on-1. It's like all 3 players had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're flipping through channels. There's just too many options. When it's a 2-on-1, it's either pass or shoot. You need to make a decision. But I feel like having that extra guy was a little bit of a problem there, which is unfortunate because you are in the NHL. But again, it's the first game, so still time to figure that out. But the problem is now, right, when you only have 8 shots and we're halfway through the game, those opportunities matter a whole lot more. Because that's probably the only 3-on-1 you're getting this game, and you did nothing with it. You didn't even register a shot. So
Yeah, and then the shot that you just registered before the commercial break was wide. It was a Chris Kelly-esque shot. But it's certainly going to be a roller coaster season. I think we can all agree on that.
I think that it's going to be more consistent than people believe, or people are expecting. And by consistent, I mean they're going to be consistently lower in shot totals, but they're also going to give up less odd man rushes and less. I think their penalty kill is going to be stronger. I think their power play is going to click. I think that it's going to be more consistent than people are giving them credit for.
I was going to say, let me rephrase. The team will have more consistency than, like you said, than people are giving them credit for. The fan reaction roller coaster, that's what's going to be the roller coaster, because one night they're going to find this to nitpick and they're going to panic over this. Like, the panic is going to be hilarious to watch all season. I'm not saying it's a roller coaster for us.
Well, and that's why I'm kind of staying off of Twitter.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it. Kevin says Swayman is the reason this is a 0-0 game. Defense has made a few plays, but this is the Swayman show.
And that's what you want. You want Swayman to be the Swayman that everyone is expecting the number one goaltender to be. Last year, he would have given up a couple of those goals.
Yeah, especially that Hampus-Lindholm mishap.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, he's so focused and so dialed in.
That Hampus-Lindholm mishap is the equivalent of Nikita Zadorov's stick breaking in overtime.
What was that was against Carolina, right? That was like 20 seconds left in the game.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Last year, the stick breaks, you get the turnover, and it costs you a game. And you just sit there and you go, what in the fuck is going on? This year, he makes the stop, and you move on, and you go, it happens. It's game one. Let's move on.
You know what else I think is going to be a difference this year is last year, right? When the Bruins were trailing late in the third period, how much confidence did you have that they were going to come back? Exactly, Kenny. Zero.
You had confidence?
Zero confidence, right? You had zero confidence that they were going to come back. Where 2 years ago,
I told you it was going to be Pastrnak was too easy.
Oh, I'm so delayed.
I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert: the Bruins scored.
Maybe. No, yeah.
There it is. But, right. So, Kenny, last year you had zero confidence that the team could come back when they're trailing. I think we're going to be a little bit more confident this year that if they're down a goal, that they may actually come back.
Yes, because defensively
100%.
they'll be a lot more sound.
Damn, those white jerseys look so good.
Oh boy.
No, you know what I'm upset about is last year I had said that if Frederick signed an extension in Boston, that was my next jersey. And then he doesn't. And then he got traded.
And then he doesn't. So now you don't get the Freddie jersey.
He got traded. So now I don't know. Because I mean, I'm kind of close to Zadorov, but I'm a little nervous.
When are you going to get the Kastelik jersey?
He's not even on my radar.
Well, I mean, you got 5 years if you decide you want to get Jeannot.
No, I'm all set with Jeannot.
Yeah, no, I don't think there'll be very many of those. Yeah, Kevin, I don't know why we were all overthinking it. We should have just said Pasta scores the first goal. I mean, isn't it one of those things that Pasta's the only one who can score.
No, but you know what? A lot of people were saying Geeky.
Yeah. I mean, I went Easymont just because I figured it'd be one of those things where you look at it and you go, how the hell did that happen?
You know what? Puck luck is the thing, and I'm good with puck luck.
I will
Chris,
also.
I usually ask you all the goaltending questions because again, I didn't play goalie at all, growing up. So, but I don't know if you saw it, but Swayman on the defensive zone draws isn't set up square to the face-off. He's set up square to the point. Like, is that? I feel like that's weird. It's a weird thing to happen, especially as a center. If I see that, I'm trying to just chip it through the legs, get it on goal.
I mean,
He must feel that his reaction time is there to be set up on the point because
yeah.
when he's focused and his reaction time is there, even if you're going through the legs, he's getting back.
There's that factor. There's also like that's such a low percentage shot that my guess is he's playing the percentage. Is that shot more likely to go in, or is it the pass over that he is now better able to react to? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna, I definitely was never good enough to be in the NHL. I don't know what they practice, but I definitely remember just as, even younger, practicing that shot as a center from the dot just for late game situations, right, where there's only like 5 seconds left and you just push it right on net. I don't know if they
yeah.
practice that as much in the NHL, but like, I just found it a little odd.
Yeah, Kevin says he's protecting the short side of the net. It's harder to hit the net far side off the draw opposed to near side. Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch some of the tape on it too, because it's not just where he's lining up to, it's how does he react to the face off as well. Because it might be a situation where he favors one side, and then as soon as the ref goes to drop the puck, he kind of cheats over. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
he is definitely on his game. Actually, I was telling Gayle earlier, I've gone back in and I'm doing an analysis of all the goals that DiPietro allowed during the preseason, and where he went wrong in those, so that people can have a better understanding of why he was put on waivers and why he was not claimed. Because it's one thing to say, oh, we have interest in this player, but when you actually have to get rid of a current player to replace him with someone else, you need to know what you're getting. And there are a lot of question marks about DiPietro in that regard.
well, also I would ask who said, I know there may have been a little interest around DiPietro, but I feel like it was more or less just Bruins fans worried that he was going to get claimed. It was more Bruins fans thinking that he was going to beat out Corpusalo. Like, I
No,
just,
there was a lot more panic because admittedly Elliot Freeman did mention his name a few times on 32 Thoughts, and I know Jeff Merrick has had his name out there a few times. Jeff Merrick was actually one of the first ones who threw his name out
yeah,
there with Edmonton, and that's kind of started the water flow of it, and I think some of that is also agent driven. The agent's trying to stir up some talk about the client to get that extra eyes on him and that sort of thing. But I mean, there's having gone back and looked at those goals that he gave up, there really is not. There's too much inconsistency to his game. Once you elevate the play against him, I just don't see it being a thing for him right now. I was never worried about it. Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, way to go, Kevin.
Did you see that post, Kenny?
Fanatics is such a mess. Like, it is really just unbelievable. Because they run everything, right? They run, the NHL shop, like, just truly a mess. It's, yeah.
and they do it so poorly.
Everything is piss poor at Fanatics, honestly. It's just awful. It doesn't shock me one bit. If you've ever ordered from Fanatics, this is like not a surprise.
You know, I have to say, way more confident in this 1-0 lead this year than I was last year.
That's what happens when your goaltender is playing like the goaltender that you paid $8 million for, and the defense in front of him includes Hampus Lindholm and Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, despite Kevin's point, they're allowing Washington to get multiple chances right now in front of the net. The thing with the chances that they're allowing, though, is Swayman can see them. When Swayman can see them, he can save them.
Yeah, he's definitely got a clear.
I definitely found our what we were debating pretty interesting about DiPietro being able to see the shot. You know, you said if he's able to get squared away, he should be able to save it. And I'm like, as somebody who was a player, I blame, the players for throwing it out right in front of the net, right in the slot. Is that still like what you're standing by is like, if he's able to get square to the shot, he should be able to save it regardless of what happens or where the shot's coming from?
I mean, first of all, a goaltender's never going to have 1,000% save percentage. So, if you look at it in terms of no one's going to be 1,000 out of 1,000, period, end of story. It's the 100 that go in out of 1,000, or, if you want to have, a 925 to 75 goals, how do those look? Are you going to get beat clean on some of them? Yeah, when you have shooters in the National Hockey League like Ovechkin or Eichel or Marner or, Demidov, like these guys have elusive shots. They're going to go in and you're just going to get beat sometimes. It's limiting those. And so, like, that goal that Thompson allowed just now from Pastrnak, he never saw that. So to sit there and say, oh, he should have had it, like, are there things he could have done going into the play, like going into the shot, that might have increased his ability to have vision on the shot? Possibly. But there's one, like I said, I just did the deep dive into DiPietro for all of the goals that he allowed, right? And there's one in particular where, even though he's getting there, his athleticism has him going back. He's going right to left, getting back to the post, right? But because of the way he was holding his glove lower than his pad. All right. So about half his glove is above, like if his pad is here, his glove is about here. If he's holding it up here, he makes the save. So that little bit. Now, why is it down here? Because he needed to use that momentum because he wasn't paying attention to the player on his left who ultimately scored. So it's the sequence of events. If he was aware of the player there, he's not as committed to the shot in the moment because he knows the pass is an option. So he's not fully squared up and dropping to his knees as soon as the player with the puck in front of him is making a movement that looks like a shot, turns out to be a pass. So instead of dropping to his knees, getting up, and then getting over, he reacts to waiting to see if it's actually a shot or a pass. Once he sees that the shot's not coming towards him, he then is able to follow the pass. He doesn't have to go down and get up and fight gravity and react that much quicker. Now, also, if he was 6'3", he would have been over a little quicker because he has the extra 2 inches on himself. Might have made the save in that part. You can't hold the height against him, but you can hold the other things, the controllables. How did he read the play? How did he hold his glove? Those are the types of things that he can improve on. And if he does, he can be really good at the NHL level. But we're not talking about a 22-year-old kid. We're talking about a 26-year-old who has these habits built into his game already. Kevin says keeping pucks at a perimeter and keeping players from the front of your net is the key to success and the least amount of goals going into your own goal. I mean, yeah, you can win a game 1-0.
Yeah, if you keep shots to the perimeter and keep players out of the front of the net, I would hope that a lot of the games would be shutouts. So are you watching now, where he's kind of set up a little bit?
Yeah, I saw that. He's definitely favoring because the shot that's going to go to his upper left, if you will, that's a much lower probability shot than, say, the defenseman fading off the dot and getting the one-timer from the draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so what do you think? Do you think that varies team by team? Do you think this was like something that he just decided, this game? Or is this like,
I'd have to go back and see just how much of an adjustment he's made from previous years. It literally could be a 2-inch adjustment. It could be a 6-inch adjustment. And depending on how much of an adjustment, because let's face it, last year, especially coming out of camp, he was not sharp. And so if we look at it from where he was
coming out of
last
camp,
year,
he wasn't in camp.
That's my point. So if you look at where he was for the successful parts of last season, I'd be willing to bet he was more lined up the way he is tonight. Now you've made me very interested to have to go back to some of those games.
I know. My bad.
No, it's okay. Honestly, those are the kinds of things that, like, that's why they say goaltending is voodoo, though, because a lot of people don't look for those kinds of things. If last year when he's given up 8 goals to Winnipeg and 7 against Dallas in that faceoff, if he's 4 inches to his left compared to where he is tonight, his entire game is thrown off. All of his reads, like all of it. Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
What do you think? Boston was injured?
Yeah, well, I looked up and I see him keeled over, and I didn't even see the clock and hit double zeros. So I was like, oh boy. And then he starts going down the tunnel.
Yeah.
All right. End of 2, you average 5 shots a period.
Well, you're up 1-0, so I guess you really can't complain too much.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Gayle. The funny thing is if Matej Blumel was on this team, I think you'd have about 15 shots on goal.
Kevin, I was at a concert last night.
Game would still probably be 1-0, but
it would still be 1-0, but you'd have 15 shots on goal.
Yeah,
just from Blumel. Kevin says Pasternak and Geeky were made for each other. They just know where each other will be. I think that's just Pasternak being really, really good too.
No.
Well, he knew where Marchand and Bergeron were going to be.
Not to the point that he built that. Like Bergeron and Marchand had that sixth sense. You know what I mean? That Bergeron could be 20 feet in front of Marchand and he would know where to drop the pass. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no.
And Pasternak
that's the similar connection.
Right. That's more where Pasternak has built that with Geeky. And so it's Kevin, I saw Jeff Tate.
I'll put it this way. Elias Lindholm is to Geeky and Pasternak what Pasternak was to Marchand and Bergeron.
Okay, I'll give you that. I give you that.
Not necessarily positionally, of course, but
No, I
as far as
get what you're
chemistry
saying
on the
though.
line.
That it's Pasternak and Geeky that have the connection, and Elias is the,
He's the third guy that you could change out. Like you could put Pavel Zacha there if you needed to move Elias somewhere. Like just like you could move Krejci down or Pasternak down with Krejci and slide Jake DeBrusk in there. Like very similar. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to do it. It's not your ideal. It's not the greatest thing, but it could be done. I guarantee you give me the exact same look if I said put Zacha in instead of Lindholm.
Yeah, I would.
So,
all right.
I'll let you read Kevin's.
Without looking, who do you think leads the Bruins in shots on goal
tonight?
Yep.
Arvidsson.
Yeah, I think Arvidsson would be a good guess, but probably.
Oh. No.
Geeky?
Nope.
Minton.
Sean Corrali.
How many shots has he taken? 3? All right. Well, can I throw a red flag on that and go, uh-oh? If Sean Corrali is your leading shot producer, uh-oh.
I mean, right? So they have what? 10 shots on goal.
Yeah.
He has 30% of them.
They have 10 shots on goal. He's the only one that has more than one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't complain about Pasternak's shot on goal because it worked. It went in. So if he's going to shoot 1,000% all year, he can take 2 shots a game, 1 shot a game, and I won't care. If he makes it count at that pace, then I'm not going to care that he's not shooting as much. But
Kevin, do you see the question, Jeff Taint?
Yes.
No, the old lead singer from Queensryche, Jeff Tate.
Yeah, I think he's trying to bring back What's Brewing After Dark.
Yeah, no, I'm not going there.
I will also say one of the more annoying things about the TNT broadcast, like I get they're doing the broadcast from Vegas, but like, can you talk about the game that's going on?
Well, they've already interviewed Eichel. They've already interviewed Marner.
That's my point. Like, you're so focused on the game for the city that you're in, you're completely ignoring the game that's going on right now. Also, how many panelists is too many?
Well, you only have to remove one of them and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Remove Biz and call it a day.
Exactly.
He hates the Bruins anyways.
He wasn't even here for the conversation earlier.
Oh, no, you talked about it already?
Oh, I can't stand Biz.
He hates the Bruins. Like, it's just get this guy off the broadcast, please.
Sorry. Kevin got it right.
He did put Corrali. He did guess Corrali. Now, did you guess or did you know?
I
no, I'm
Kevin,
asking
he probably
Kevin
knew.
if he guessed or if he knew.
But
listen, we got 20 minutes left. What's your prediction?
2-0.
Pain or happiness?
I think Swayman's on his game. I think Swayman's on his game. And you know what? Earlier today, I predicted 3-1 as a victory. I'm going to stick with that.
All right, Kenny, you said 2-0. Are you thinking empty net or are they going to score with
No, I'm thinking empty net. I also want to say loss because I feel like if we all choose win, we're just asking for the hockey gods.
can't
Well, it could
lose
be
when you're
2-0
winning.
and be a loss.
They're winning 1-0.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stay with 2-0, but if the Bruins lose, we all have to take it. That's on us for all picking the Bruins winning.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
But no, I had said 3-1 earlier, so I think I'm gonna stick with that. I think they'll get one more. Washington gets one, and then they're able to tack on an empty netter.
Okay.
Because, well, what do you think? You asked us the question, and we got to get your answer. Kevin says the Caps are winning 3-1. So,
You think so, Kevin? You think I don't think Swayman gives up 3 goals. I don't think
he's on fire. I think they'll get one past him.
I don't think he gives up 3 goals.
Could give up 2 and then an empty netter.
Swayman?
Not yet. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think Swayman's going to give up 3 goals, but he could give. I mean, it's more possible.
He could give up 2, and then the Capitals get the empty netter. I'm going 2-1 Bruins OT.
Oh, you're taking it to overtime. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to handle that after your concert?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
No, that's the stuff that happens to Chris and I when we're streaming. This will probably be like a 14-round shootout, and the Bruins end up losing. That with our luck.
Yeah, it'll be who's the 6th defender that Washington throws out there as their 19th shooter.
Yeah, nobody scores the whole time, but Justin Sordiff scores to end the game.
They'll take Charlie Lindgren off the bench and be like, "We need an extra shooter. Go!"
Yeah, so even Kevin says 3-1, 2 with an empty net. I don't know. I don't see Sway giving up 2. I think he's dialed in. I think he's got that chip on his shoulder, and I think he
wants to join Artur Shilovs with a shutty on the first night.
Yeah, I think he wants the shut. I think he wants to basically tell the Bruins fans that have been saying to trade him before his no movement kicks in
to shut the F up.
Exactly. I think.
And you know what's really funny is if he does get the shutout, all of those fans are gonna completely change their tune.
Of course,
no, they're not, because Boston fans hate their goaltenders.
Okay, half of them will change their tune. Some of them do it just because it's going to get them clicks. Dialed in or not, the Bruins are allowing some crazy chances on them. Yes, that's why I give them 1 goal.
Right, but I still think that Sway's going to steal this game.
Swayman is reading plays. He's anticipating. He's
squared up
in good position. Moving. He's squared up. His reaction times aren't delayed. He is where he needs to be. And when he is that way, he is a .930 save percentage goaltender.
He's moving side to side with no issue. He's not struggling to get to the short side or the far side. He's moving. And you see because even the chances, they're not, the Bruins aren't allowing bodies in front of him to block his vision either.
And I think some of that has to do with Sturm's system. Mm-hmm. I think part of his system is going to be let the goaltender see the shot.
Yeah. Kevin.
Anticipate this loss. No, I won't, because you're up 1-0. Why would you anticipate the loss when you don't have a history of blowing games this season?
They don't have a history of anything this season.
That's my point. If they blow this game, then tomorrow, if they have a 1-0 lead, I would sit there and go, yeah, well, last night they blew it too. So now I can start anticipating a loss in this situation.
Yes, the Bruins have blown 100% of the games that they've played this season. So there you go.
Yeah, but they've also won 100% of the games that they've played this season.
2 seconds. Be right back. Gotta say goodnight to my daughter.
Sure. I mean, it's a couple different ways of thinking about it. See?
No, I was talking about tomorrow.
Oh, for tomorrow, yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing is if they blow it. So, although I will say this, I need Geeky to get a goal. He was when I threw a little bet in on him with an anytime goal scorer. So, I was gonna watch the Rimouski game earlier too, but I think I'm missing that.
Yeah, no, the Americans have been lighting it up in the queue this year. It's been beautiful to see.
Oh no, it was Kitchener. Kitchener had the game at 7. Kitchener and
Kitchener.
Flint. But now I got plenty of stuff on flow that I got to watch here. Tomorrow, Brantford and Niagara in the O, Kingston, Peterborough, Guelph, Windsor. Who else we got? Royals and Spirit. It's a big day in the OHL tomorrow, actually.
Which means it's going to be a fun day for us.
Oh, yeah. And I actually want to try to get out to Lowell to watch Austin Elliott as I think Michigan is coming soon. But this weekend, they got Merrimack again. I know it's nothing special. Yeah, they got Merrimack again. Wow. They're in Merrimack this time.
Oh.
But I really do wonder if a school like BC with we'll call it questionable goaltending, they don't have an established starter. If they look at going after a guy like Elliott for the transfer portal over the window or off season.
I don't know. Like I said, I go to you with most of my goaltending stuff, but I thought Correct was good against Quinnipiac. Honestly, I thought that game was not as close as.
Well, he also won't be there next year.
Really?
Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't he a junior? Because
then he has his senior year. If this year he's a junior,
I'd have to go back and look and see where he's at, but he might not be there next year. We'll say. So
yeah, this is his third. So this would be his junior year. So he could return for his senior year, depending on how it goes.
Okay.
I'm interested to see Boston College play Minnesota because I think those are two teams where like people really expected big things out of the gates and both flopped very badly. Michigan Tech was, I believe, up in the first game, but then Minnesota stormed back and won, and then Michigan Tech actually won the second game against Minnesota. So
I will say this too. I think I'm going to say it right now. I think Andre Gassot has a massive year for BC, and Bruins fans are going to start jumping on that bandwagon the same way they did Donzlach Mellis. I don't think they should board the train quite that same way, but I think by the end of the year they will be.
I didn't see a lot of people board that train when he was at UMass. I saw it when he puts up 14 points in 7 games or whatever, and the end of the season. Then they're like, "Wow, I always knew this guy was going to be good."
Yeah, no, I think one of the things Loch Mellis and some of the other young guys have done, James Hagens as well. People are going to have a lot more eyes on BC this year because of Hagens and obviously a little bit Letourneau as well. And they're going to look at Gassot throughout the year and they're going to go, oh my God, this kid is so good. I can't believe we got him in the 7th round. And they're going to jump on him the same way they jumped on Loch Mellis with this 14 points in 7 games last year.
Yeah, I mean, I joked a little bit about, the Chris Pelosi effect, but I was very impressed with the way that he played. So he's going to be interesting. I don't know if he's necessarily going to leave Quinnipiac after this year, but he had a really strong game against BC.
I think he should go back for one more. Where he's at right now, we'll see where he's at the end of the year. But
yeah, no, they mentioned on the broadcast that he gained 16 pounds of muscle over the summer. They mentioned that like 20 times. I'm like, all right, I got it. Like I'm impressed.
Yeah, remember when Jack Stanico put on muscle?
No.
Gayle, remember that off season?
Yeah.
Jack Nika put on 20 pounds.
Why are we talking about Jack Signica?
I'm just saying, pointing out the hilarity of people. He put on weight. He put on muscle. He put on, like, when you're 17, 18, 19-year-old kid with an off season of nothing but weight training, I should hope you put on some weight.
Can we talk about the amount of saves Jeremy Swayman has made on the power play? Or the penalty kill, I should say.
He is saving their ass. He is absolutely bailing them out. Absolutely.
Okay. So of Washington's 25 shots, 11 of them have come on the man advantage.
So that means 5-on-5 or shorthanded. They have, 14 shots? Is my math right on that?
They have 0 shorthanded.
Okay, so 14 shots on 5-on-5? Yeah.
The Bruins have 2 shorthanded shots, 7 at even strength.
So what's the 5-on-5 shot count?
5-on-5, 14. I just said that.
No, 14 to what?
Oh, 14 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah, the Bruins have 7 even strength. 7 even strength.
I mean, do you think that's a trend that might continue, getting outshot 2-1 5-on-5 throughout the season?
I think it depends on the teams.
Okay, yeah, fair.
I think it's fair to say it depends on the teams. There's going to be teams that the Bruins are going to outshoot. It also depends, again, if you're on the penalty kill, you can't get into that rhythm offensively because your lines are all jumbled.
Yeah, I think that's what slowed them down a little bit in the beginning of this
part
one.
of it too.
All right, I've got puck drop already.
Yeah, so do I.
I think I'm ahead of you guys.
I have puck drop now.
Hey, listen, I won't complain if they win this game 1-0. All right. I'm sticking with the prediction I made earlier in the day.
To quote Magic Johnson, it doesn't matter if you win 1-0 or 21-0. A win is a win is a win.
Yeah. Oh, did you see in the press conference when they were asked about how they were going to win or whatever? I'm sure you probably have the question and the answer somewhere, but they basically kind of laughed at it and they were like, "We don't care how we win. We just want to win."
Well, I mean,
we'll take them out. We get them.
Like, do you really care? I mean, yes, everyone's talking about the Bruins' lack of scoring, but if they win 1-0, does it matter?
No.
The 2 points is all that matters. I don't care how many goals they score as long as they get the points.
Right. And if you look at the other teams in their division, just look at the division. Can you beat Toronto in a 1-goal game?
Yes.
Can you beat Buffalo in a 1-goal game?
Yes.
Can you beat Detroit in a 1-goal game?
Yes.
Can you beat
Ottawa
in a 1-goal game?
Yes.
Okay. Can you beat Tampa in a 1-goal game?
Yeah, actually you can.
Now you can.
Vasilevsky's on a downward.
Now you can.
If it was 5 years ago and Vasi was playing the way Vasi was playing, I'd say no. But now you can.
He's you have found his human spot. So
Correct.
Now you can't. Could you beat Florida in a 1-0 game?
No.
You might be able. You're a hell of a lot closer to it now than you were last year.
Yeah, I think part of it because Florida's missing Barkov.
That certainly helps.
Kachuk. You know what I mean?
Helps.
So that definitely helps. But I still don't think if it comes down to it, I'm not sure that Swayman or Korpisalo can elevate above Bob.
Are you closer to being able to beat them in a 1-goal game now than you were before?
Oh, absolutely, especially after last year.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And that's how they're looking at it. Can we beat the teams within our division by 1 goal more often than we lose?
All right. So I got Jack saying it's a 40 save blanking with Arvidsson potting the insurance. So he's going 2-0 Bruins.
Okay.
40 saves.
Yeah, I mean we're away. Well, we're what? 15
Swayman,
shots
he's
off
got
of that. That's a
25
shot a
saves.
minute.
It's not that far off.
Well, 15 shots in 16 and a half minutes is a little bit much. But it could very easily be a 35 save. I'll give him that. I think I took the over in his saves too.
What was the line?
24, I think.
Wow.
I gotta pull it up. Let me go back to. Well, I threw a little bit down on a Morgan Geekie anytime goal scorer too, so I'm really hoping he pulls one in for me. Toronto's beating Montreal, and they're in the third. Let me see here what I got. No, I didn't go with Swayman's. I went with Stolar's, and I went with Wolf. But even Dustin Wolf has a line at 27 and a half saves.
I don't know why I'm thinking about this now, but I know you guys were talking about like the jerseys earlier, and I'm a little bit different, I think. I wouldn't want like a David Pastrnak jersey. I feel like I would have more fun with like a Lee Stepniak jersey. Because like who owns
you have
that?
a Georgi Merkulov Providence right behind you, all right?
I know, and it's number 8. I feel like unique jerseys are cool. Like I would walk into Fenway Park with like a Connor Wong jersey because who else at Fenway Park has a Connor Wong jersey? No.
Kenny, I have a Kyle McLaren jersey.
Kyle McLaren. Oh,
I don't even.
I was gonna say I don't think he even knows the name.
I don't even know who that is. So you have me beat there. So I'm just saying. I feel like that's like sick. You walk into TD Garden with like a Rick Nash jersey. That's fire. I'm gonna respect you if you do that. Like I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's a fan right there.
What would be a good one? I know people love throwing names in the name the random player jersey. That would be a solid pickup. Playing at least one NHL game. Are you going to show them the hung jerseys?
So these are my autographs. So the black and the white that are facing forward with the spoke Z, they don't have a number on the back, but they're all autographed. The spoke B's are autographed. My Neely is autographed just by Neely. And then the McLaren is autographed by McLaren, a bunch of other players.
Wow.
No. Then I have these. So Chara Savad or
who's the pink one?
It's Bergeron. It's Hockey
Is it? Okay.
It's purple. Hockey
okay, I could only see the 7.
Yeah. I've got 2 Bergeron. No, wait, hold on. Hanging up, I have 1, 2, 3 Bergerons hanging up.
I should have assumed it was Bergeron. It's got a 7 in it.
The original Winter Classic is a Luch. Then I've got, which my husband found at a thrift shop for $5.
Oh
wow.
My Or Savad Chara, and then he made me the B that's facing forward is the custom that has my name on the back of it. Should I show him the other ones?
Oh, the ones that you can pull those out again. Might be showing a few new people the collection again.
As you can tell, I definitely like the unique jerseys.
I was gonna
keep those
say,
two on them.
what's the black one? Is that a 10 or 70?
This is 10. This is a custom jersey. I don't know if you know about like the Danbury Trashers. They're an old team that was owned by a mob boss or whatever it was. I don't know if you ever seen it. It's on Netflix documentary.
Yes, I do remember that documentary.
Yeah,
I watched that.
it's signed by those both, like, because he bought the team for his son.
Yep.
So I don't know. He still does stuff in Danbury, and my dad actually got it for me because he works for whatever they do. They do like the Italian festival. My dad was working it. They ended up getting it. I'm like, this is fire. This needs to go in the backdrop. So definitely two unique ones right here, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
You ready, Kenny?
Let's see it.
My Micah Ruzioni.
Oh yeah.
Bergeron.
Real quick,
Retro
before he was a character in a Disney movie, Micah Ruzioni actually played for the United States.
But this is the retro Bergeron.
No, I know. We've taken plenty of trips to
Pasternak.
Lake Placid.
Pasta. Centennial alternate.
Wow.
Martian Centennial alternate. Bergeron Centennial alternate. Martian with a C. Another Bergeron with a C. Swayman Centennial. Jack Eichel USA. And this one is a blank, but it's all autographed.
Do you have like a jersey like budget or limit, or you're just like whatever? Whichever
Listen,
one you like, you buy.
my husband just buys me stuff.
Look, if I found a jersey like that at a flea market or whatever for $5, I'd buy it in a heartbeat too. I honestly probably wouldn't even look at the size.
Well, he wanted to get me a Mac. I was telling Chris, he wanted to get me the McAvoy 4 Nations USA, but they were unavailable, so that's why he got me Eichel.
Eichel's not bad.
No, I was happy with Eichel. But yeah, so my Bergeron, like, a lot of the ones that are hanging up downstairs, I've had for years. Obviously, these Centennials and stuff. My husband's like, oh, I bought you a jersey. Oh, I bought you a jersey. Oh, I'm like, holy crap. So, yeah.
Does he like collect jerseys too, or is it just he buys them for
He's
you?
not even a hockey fan.
Really? That's crazy.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I make everyone around me hockey fans. You have to pretend if you're gonna sit downstairs and watch. You have to be a hockey fan. I'm taking that TV and we're watching hockey until 12 at night.
Or 2 a.m.
Or 2 a.m. No, actually, I do that in my room so I don't piss people off.
It's a lot easier to stay up to 2 a.m. to enjoy the game when you don't care who wins and you're just rooting for a good game.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult when we're watching the Bruins and it's 12 o'clock. Oh.
Those are all the little Lego people.
Kevin just got a little closer to being right.
These are all a Washington score?
Yeah.
I'm that delayed. Listen, I'm the one that said 2-1 overtime.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, see, well, if you look at it too, Wilson took advantage. He went to the left of Swayman or to the right of Swayman as Swayman's momentum was carrying him left.
Yeah, so back against.
He went against the way he was going. Wilson read that play. So that's one of those ones where, obviously, again, looking at how did the goal go in, what caused it. Like, first of all, why was Wilson wide open for that shot? You know what I mean? You have to figure that out first. But Swayman was getting over there. It's just, and if you notice, he actually was beat above his right shoulder in a sense that he was overcommitted to that shot. He read the play. He was over there before it. He didn't stop in time. And I mean, obviously, you have to go back and look and see, is that an issue because of something Swayman did wrong, essentially, or is that something that, because you're playing on ice and you don't have friction to slow you down, just happened.
Well, the other thing is that, not to quote the announcer, but the Bruins got caught puck watching.
Yeah.
They didn't take out Wilson.
Right. That's what I mean. Why was he alone open by himself for that shot opportunity? Of course, here we go on a power play, so maybe we can get it back. John Carlson goes for holding.
That was a pretty weak call.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'll take
get him.
I'm not.
You're going to get him in your favor, and trust me. How many times are we going to look at it?
That's not a weak call. That's not a weak call. He was holding his arm.
I saw the. I didn't see the. I saw the end of it. I was like,
no. What I'm saying though is even if it was a weak call, how many times are we going to look at it during the season and go, oh, that's a weak call against Zadorov. That's a weak call against Like, they're getting the call because of who they are. Like, you just got to fight through it. Those even out. Let's be honest. Kevin says, I'm not blaming Swayman. They have been allowing chances like this all night. Yeah, and he's been bailing them out all night until that one. So, that location, though, right in the slot like that, that's how DiPietro was beat all preseason, in prime spots like that.
Oh, well, the Bruins just spoiled me.
Well, Gayle, you're not getting your 2-1 loss.
I didn't say 2-1 loss.
2-1 win in overtime.
Victory.
Oh, okay.
I said 2-1 victory, but I said OT.
Okay, well,
but I'll take an Elias Lindholm power play goal.
I was gonna say it won't happen in OT at this point if you are right.
Did you see that move by Elias? Did you see Pasta that move by Elias? I want everyone to look at this play. Watch this replay. And I want all the Elias Lindholm haters to suck my big toe.
I will say this, though, just based on this last replay I just saw, there's a small chance Washington has them look at it.
I feel like he was pushed in.
I think so, too. I wouldn't challenge it, but I could see them doing it.
Nah, that was a beautiful pass by Pasta.
That was a hell of a... Did you see how he was falling, tripping over himself, too? Gains himself and then makes the pass?
I did not expect that bounce.
I was talking about McAvoy. Yeah, I thought he was pushed in.
McAvoy didn't even touch him.
The side angle looked like he might have clipped him a little bit, but I agree with Kenny. I think he would have been pushed if anything. So Kevin says, did not expect that bounce back. There you go. That's a bounce back that we didn't see last season in this team.
That's the Elias Lindholm we saw down the stretch last season, though.
Oh yeah, but the bounce back that we just saw doesn't happen last year. They let in that goal, it becomes a tie game, and you sit there and you go, okay, well, how long until they give up 2-1?
Oh,
what's that?
I said, here we go again.
Oh yeah, that's what you were thinking last year.
Yeah.
They give up the game tying goal, and you're like, all right, what is it? A minute, 90 seconds before they score again, and then next thing you know, they score again, and you're down by a goal, and it's a 2-goal shift like that.
Because the team would get deflated.
Exactly. This year, they look at it, they go, put it behind us, move on. We got a power play. Let's go use it. Boom. Elias Lindholm. Like you said, that's the Elias Lindholm that was in the Worlds too.
Well, it started in Four Nations.
Yes.
He started to play the way he did down the stretch in Four Nations. being in that tournament, definitely you could tell he was feeling better. He looked much better. Even Kevin says didn't expect them to bounce back, and then he also agrees with me. He never McAvoy didn't touch him.
Yeah, it was just that side replay. As I looked up from it, the way that McAvoy was falling, I was like, nowadays you just never know when a coach is going to challenge it, and especially after that LA challenge in the playoffs last year, I just sit there and I go, I wouldn't challenge it, but God knows what the hell that coach.
Oh God, we could go 2 years ago to Bruins in Florida.
Yeah, let's not. Let's not. Now I need Geeky to get a goal. I need him to get the empty netters so I can hit that bet. Great that would also bring me to the 3-1 prediction too.
I feel like that would check out though. Everybody on the first line scores a goal, and then
it would.
I feel like that would definitely that's probably.
Yeah,
Are we headed to a new perfection line? That was a joke.
I was gonna say, are you actually gonna call it that? If they
no, because I hate it. I never called it that to begin with.
It's I wouldn't. I never liked that though. Geeky has Geeky assisted on either of these goals. He might have a secondary assist. That last one was all Pasta though.
No, I mean that was also a beautiful feed by Zacha.
Oh, well, I didn't even see that part.
Nice. I think it was a bank pass. Nice little bank pass to Pasta.
Lindholm from Pasta and Zacha, and then Pasternak from Zadorov and Geeky. So Geeky has a secondary assist on Pasta's goal. It would be the first line, though, as you pointed out, Kenny. A 1-2-3 line scoring line for Pasternak in the first game, and all 3 goals from the first line. Like that would happen. A goal, 2 assists for 3 points for Pasta. Leafs ended up winning over Montreal 5-2. I think Montreal was the one team in the division I forgot to ask if we could beat 1-0, but we absolutely could.
Get more out of your vacation with Norwegian's More at Sea. Can I get more? Experience more with Norwegian.
Let's see.
Sometimes things fall right into place, but other times they just fall. But at least you can get them fixed now and pay later in 4.
You okay over there?
SafeFlight.com.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
I heard some thumping.
Oh, I put my phone down. I guess it came in a little louder than I thought. All right. Can we get one more?
I don't know if you talked about it, but did you see Parker Wotherspoon led Pittsburgh defenseman in time on ice last night?
Why doesn't that surprise me? Because Justin Brazeau is the one who got 2 goals.
No kidding. I saw that last night because I was checking scores when I was at the concert. I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh, and the Justin Brazeau blah-isms were off the charts last night. First of all, he's in a perfect position in Pittsburgh. Someone has to score other than Malkin and Crosby. He's lower in the lineup where he belongs. And he's playing with really good, he's going to be on their power play. Like, he's going to score. Someone's going to trade for him probably next year when he's in the last year of his contract, and they'll flip him for something decent, just like the Bruins flipped him in the Murat Hustadinov deal.
Yeah, I think that whenever a Bruins player, a former Bruins player, is successful on another team, no matter when, how, or why, it's the Bruins don't know how to trade and develop. What? That has nothing to do with it.
Oh, that
Right.
reminds me of Jack Studnicka's performance in the preseason. Oh, people were pissed.
I saw a few of those posts. Again,
And then what happened?
That's
Get
why
sent
I've been
down.
staying off Twitter. It's too friggin' toxic.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I see those, and Kenny, you know, I've engaged with some of them before to just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But man, it is so much more peaceful to just let it go and be like, they are dumb.
No, it's great. I live through you, Chris. Like I don't reply to anybody who's like that stupid, but like sometimes you do, and then I just read through that, and I'm like, this is great. I don't have to get in the middle of this, and Chris is just saying what I was
I
thinking
don't want to
anyways.
apply to people that are that stupid. That's fucking awesome.
Oh man.
So, can we talk about some of the comments that I saw on my former employer's website?
Oh yes.
Did you saw that post today, right?
Which one? Oh god.
The one
Probably
that
not.
I said, well, it looks a little bit different. Oh no, I put it on.
I saw yours.
No, I put it on.
I know it was on Blue Sky.
Yes.
I did see your post. I don't know if you put it on Twitter as well. I thought
I
saw
didn't
there
put it.
too.
I didn't put it on Twitter because a lot of those people follow me.
Ah.
But so there's a big complaint about the lack of coverage.
Gee, I can't imagine why.
And so a lot of the comments were like, well, that's what happens when you get rid of your editorial staff that actually cared about the Bruins, blah, 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 blah. And I find it hilarious because they're owned in part by Delaware North.
Yeah. So you know how on their website they have the 4 tabs at the top?
Yeah.
I just clicked on the Bruins tab, and there are 4, 8, 12. There are 16 stories listed. One of them is a Bruins story.
Wait, what?
When I clicked on the Bruins tab at the top.
Yeah.
Or I guess it still keeps it the main page, but there are 16 little previews for stories on the main page.
Oh yeah, no, when you click on Bruins, you have to hit home.
Okay,
and that brings it to the Bruins page.
That's just a bad way to run the website.
Yeah.
I clicked on Bruins, send me to the Bruins.
Right. No, because when you click on Bruins, it gives you the option to go to scores and schedule stats. I hated when they changed that.
Still stupid.
That was a nice shot by Hustadinov, but it was saved. But they have nothing about the game.
No. Other than the goal for the season revealed by Marco Sturm.
Yeah, but that's not even about the game.
No, it's not. And no, I'm not faulting the writers or anything like that. Like the people who are still doing the work, like that's not on them. But oh,
yes, it is. They're all freelance.
Well, yeah, okay. The work that's not being done is on them, but at the same time, they're not the ones who chose to change the way the company ran things.
Oh, no.
That's what I mean.
No.
The quality of the website itself, not their fault.
No.
Quality of an individual article, very much their fault. Good or bad, by the way.
See, this is gut check time. Just around 5 minutes left.
Are we doing the what was it, the Ford F-150 Final 5 like we have before?
It's on TNT, not Nesson.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a Nesson thing. We'll have to find out. Tomorrow's is on Nesson, right?
The home opener, yeah.
Okay. I just check the day of. Hopefully at some point Flow Hockey just takes over all the hockey leagues, Kenny.
I know that subscription is like, it gets better and better each year. I mean, you really can't beat it. $150 and the amount of leagues that we get, spoiled.
Although I was pissed. We were texting about it. That opener for the preseason for Providence, what the hell? Not on there.
Bridgeport and Hartford played 2 games. Those games weren't on there either. But it is. I think it is team by team because, there were games that were on. I know Hershey had their games on there.
Oh yeah, Laval had a game on there.
So.
Okay, just promise me it doesn't make a lot of noise.
By the way, I worry about the direction that Montreal is going. Not so much this year, but just overall. When they get Fowler ready for their lineup, oh boy.
And power.
That Fowler-Dobish duo is going to be crazy.
I mean, I think Fowler could already be. Well, I mean, he already has the potential to be better than Montembeault. But
Well, the good news is that I don't have to stay up for a satellite press conference tonight.
oh, for Ovechkin, yeah, I mean, there's still time. 5 minutes. Sway, you got to get up quicker than that, man.
I'm nearly a minute delay.
I'm sorry. It doesn't go in if that helps.
No, I have I pulled up the NHL website.
Oh,
I've
okay.
been doing looking at the stats and stuff. And it tells me there's 4:33 left.
Oh, yeah,
There's
I'm at
whistle.
4:36 right now.
Right. And my TV is over 5 minutes still.
Are you live? Like, I know that sounds stupid.
No,
But I've run into that before where,
No.
especially with the apps, I don't know if you're using Max or if you're using cable or whatever, but I've run into that before.
No, I'm live. I'm live.
Okay.
I'm streaming. I don't have cable. I have cable, but all my TVs are smart TVs, so I have no boxes.
Yeah.
So I'm streaming.
Who scores for the Caps? Kevin says, put in your guesses. I've got OV.
I got no one.
Yeah, I got no one. 4 minutes and change. Swayman, yeah, he just got lucky on that one with the way the puck is deflecting. But he's also, you mentioned it. Puck luck is a thing, but you get puck luck when you've earned it. Last year, this team didn't do jack diddly shit to earn puck luck.
I mean, we talked about it. I think we literally just talked about it, how it's like when you're a bad team, it feels like, all of those bad chances happen against you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a good team, you don't notice it because you're good, and it's not the end of the world when you give up those unfortunate bounces and all that.
Can you talk to Bruins fans about not shitting all over David Pastrnak then for his turnovers? Because when he's that good, you shouldn't care about it.
Yeah, well, they're gonna
Edmonton
find
shouldn't
stuff.
have they shouldn't have extended McDavid. They shouldn't have extended Draisaitl. They turned the puck over so much. We shouldn't have Pastrnak long term. We shouldn't have, anybody. They all turn the puck over. I mean, what's worse, turning the puck over once at a bad time that it leads to a goal, or 150 times because you touch the puck 400 times more than everyone else on your team? Quantity or quality? Which one's worse?
Right.
You know what it is? Sweeney doesn't know how to draft. That's all it is. It's very easy.
Oh, that's
Very
right. That's right, Kevin. It's
It's-
Kevin Pasternak.
Yeah.
No, not only
Yeah.
does Sweeney not know how to draft, but
They
you
can't
know,
develop.
yeah. I actually saw someone say that Adam McQuaid, given how I kind of put myself in the middle of a conversation
I've never done that before.
on Twitter because someone said something about the Bruins had a female skating coach for the past 5 seasons. I'm like, no, Danielle Marmer is the only female they had in hockey operations, and she was there for 1 season and went on to be the fleet coach.
Yeah.
It's because he thought it was oh shit, now I gotta go find it. Oh, I can't remember who.
Don't you love when you have to go back and find the stupid?
Yeah.
Oh, Easymont got trucked in the corner. Watch that replay. Well, that's a hit to the head. That's a brutal hit.
Glad to see you pop back up though.
Yeah.
Kim Brandvold.
Who?
Kim Brandvold.
Oh.
Who's a guy.
Oh boy. Hey, since you're a little bit ahead on the NHL stats, no, never mind. It doesn't look like they're gonna call anything. They're giving Tom Wilson the earful though, and he doesn't like it. Ian, I'm already here. So, he said, I heard you were looking for stupid, so I appeared. It's like Beetlejuice. You ask for stupid 3 times and you get really, really stupid. Is that it? Dude must have looked like a lady.
I'm confused. What do you mean do look like a lady?
Kim.
Oh, not even close. They just literally read a Wikipedia page.
Oh man.
Why was it? What was it about? Was this person just like mad about it?
Mad that Adam McQuaid was promoted and that the Bruins don't know how to develop their young players and they need to think outside the box, like get a female or something like that. And then someone goes, well, they had a female skater for 5 years. I'm like, no. I'm like, Danielle Marmer was there for 1 year and then she became the GM of the Fleet. And the Fleet have been there. Their Fleet are going into their 3rd season. So it's not even like Marmer's been around.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's like, well, they had a female skating coach. I'm like, no, they didn't. They've never had, other than Danielle Marmer, she was the first female in hockey operations for the Bruins.
Right. Now, if you want to have a conversation about whether or not they can look at other qualified candidates to diversify the front office, sure, that's a different conversation. But
right,
it's they're pulling Thompson. 32 shots on goal already for Washington. 1:40 and they pulled Thompson.
Yeah, I'm at 1:29 on the NHL stats. My TV is at 2 minutes, but
I mean, you're watching the game twice. It's okay. Oh, yeah. Swayman, way to keep the play going. Just dishes it off to the corner.
Sway looks smart.
Yep.
He looks like he's feeling his crease.
Oh, he absolutely is. A nice clear. I don't even care. Ice it.
Kevin. You see Kevin's comment?
They sure did. Her name was Jake DeBrusk. Oh boy.
See? Now Last year, sweet, that goal would have gone in. That shot would have gone in, not that goal.
Oh, the one from Chikrin? Off the
The one that
blocker?
went on the top of the net and came back down.
Yeah. Last year that gets deflected in off his back or something.
Yeah.
Chikrin took the initial shot. He gets it with the blocker, and then Ovechkin. Actually, I think Ovechkin played it with a high stick.
No, but seriously, with a minute left remaining in regulation, right?
Yeah.
With the goaltender pulled last year, you're like, oh, they're tying this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you had no faith that the Bruins were going to pull out the win.
Right. And it looks like Washington might be calling their
the opposing
timeout.
team was going to tie it.
Yeah, Washington is using their
Someone
timeout.
hit that with a high stick.
Absolutely.
I don't know who hit it with a high stick, but someone did.
It looked like it was whoever was on the
There
opposite
were
side.
3 sticks above the crossbar.
Yeah. Washington must be taking their timeout. They're all huddled up. I didn't hear who actually took it, but it makes sense for Washington because they got the ozone face off.
I will say
Right.
though, Swayman definitely looks very calm. Very calm.
Oh yeah. All right, so they've got Dubois, Ovechkin, Strome, Wilson, Carlson, and Chikrin on the ice. Can you?
Yeah, I
flip
got
the
Jay Lee
ticker?
talking to the Bruins right now.
I'm sitting here going, can you flip the ticker so that we can see who the Bruins have on the ice? Pasternak, it looks like
Lindholm, Zadorov, Peak, and
Pasternak
Geeky.
is.
Geeky's out there for you, Chris. I know that's what you're looking for.
Oh!
well, someone just scored. Morgan Geeky, empty net goal.
It's the whole trio of the first line.
I said it. There you go. How much you win?
I'd have to go back and look and pull it up. Let me go take a look here. It's going to take a few minutes for DraftKings to get caught up because, they got to verify that the goal.
Oh, look at that. All alone.
I'm pissed too because for some reason I had a great DraftKings daily lineup built out. And in it, I had Draisaitl, McDavid, Eichel, Marner, and Geeky. And Swayman was my goalie. I'd have to go back and rebuild it. I couldn't remember how the salaries lined up, but for some reason it didn't enter the contest, and I didn't realize it till after the first game had started. So the bet, Kenny, it was a 2-pick parlay bet. So it was plus 485 to hit. Bruins money line, Geeky anytime goal scorer.
Wow. So how much are you looking to cash out here?
Yeah, just a few bucks. Although I will. So last year, for my family DraftKings, stuff, I put in like $50. I've doubled it in a year just through winning those DraftKings every week in football and hockey bets.
I'm too broke to bet unless I'm betting the last 63 cents in my bank account. We're good.
I have not added any money because every time I get low, I win like 3 in a row. And so currently I'm at double where I was when I put the money in. I'll take that. Kevin says my reverse psychology worked. 3-1 Bruins with an empty net. Yeah, okay. By the way, Geeky 30-goal season incoming. Because even if the team does suck, like some fans are trying to proclaim, someone still has to score, and it's all going to come from that first line.
Well, I don't know. We have 100% win percentage so far, so I think we're going 82-0.
Damn it! I should have put my bet in on the exact score.
Did you guess 3-1?
Yeah. I even put the prediction in on Short Shift's predictions thing in their Discord. I put that in this afternoon. Kevin says you guys literally said we can't all predict it. But then we did, so you didn't listen. All right. So, game is over. 3-1 victory. Entirely the top. Mel says Pasternak 264-point pace. I think that would put him in conversation for the Hart.
What
I'm
is
not
that?
sure.
That's pretty close to like the Cooper Simpson production at Youngstown, or what was it, Tri-City last year?
That's pretty close to the Los Melis Providence production.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Specific types of moderate to severe asthma. It's not for sudden breathing problems. Some people felt their asthma symptoms improved as little as
All right. So I think we all have been level-headed enough to believe that this team is a little bit better than people are giving them credit for overall. How does the first game change that, if it does at all for you?
For me,
Yeah.
the fact that they gave up a goal and immediately responded on the power play and successfully didn't give up a goal in the last 2 minutes with the opposing goalie. Sorry, Kevin threw me off.
Oh boy, Kevin.
The fact that they didn't give up a goal late in the game with the goalie pull, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
6-on-5 for the last 2 minutes, and they scored the empty net. That gives me more confidence going into the season than last year put together.
And the way Swayman looked.
Oh, Swayman looked phenomenal. Absolutely looked phenomenal.
I do like Ian's comment. A winning season to me is as long as the Bruins eliminate the Leafs, I consider it a success.
Okay.
So, Kenny, any changes to your expectations for the team?
No, I think we were all pretty spot on in what we were thinking. Again, it's a little unfortunate. I'm not trying to rain on any parades or anything, but the first line did its job, which we assumed was going to happen, and it felt like there wasn't much from anybody else, and that needs to pick up. It can't be. You're not going to win. You're not going to make the playoffs with just one line. You're not going to win games with just one line. But I'll take the win tonight. The defense was good. Swayman was good. Swayman was great. Excellent, I should say. The defense was good. But offense needs to pick up. You need to get scoring from more than just those three players on the top line.
Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
I think it's great that top line picked off right where it left off, all three of them. Swayman picked up right where he left off at Worlds. Like you said, and as Kevin mentioned, it wasn't the fact that they gave up a goal, it's how they responded to giving it up. They bounced right back. Even if they didn't score right away, they were not letting the goal get them down, which tells me they're not going to have those 5, 6, 7, 8-0, 8-1 losses again this year. They're not going to let games get away from them like that.
Well, no, they didn't score right away, but the next shift they drew a penalty, got immediately on the power play.
Well, that's what I mean.
So that's perfect.
Yeah, That's as close to scoring right away as you can get without doing it the very next shift. All right.
Yeah,
You did
basically.
all you fought through to get the power play, whether you think it was soft or not. They got the power play, then they scored on the power play. Step one was not letting another goal in a minute, the same way they did all of last year. That was a success. Then not only did they do that, they added to it by drawing the penalty, and then they added to that building block by scoring the goal. And then, Gayle, as you mentioned, they didn't give up a goal in the last 5 minutes. You don't have to freak out in the final 5 anymore. So,
Yeah, I think that in itself is huge. That
and
they
didn't
did not give
final
up that goal.
That goal and the period ending goals that they used to give up as well.
Yeah.
So it bodes well. We'll have to see how they bounce back for tomorrow's game. I think a lot of people right now might be enjoying this one a little bit more than being able to remember that they have another game tomorrow. So let's do it again. So with that, we have been doing this for a little shy of 4 hours since we stayed on for the whole game. I will edit this down so that, Gayle, you and I have a pod, and then we have the bonus pod of the watch along. Kenny, thank you for joining us. I know you kind of jumped on out of nowhere. Do either of you, I'll start with Kenny, either of you have any other thoughts to add before we sign off here at a little after 10:15?
No, I'm good. I think I said everything that needed to be said. I look at the Blackhawks on the schedule tomorrow, and I think back to their game. Right, this is not, this is still an NHL team, and they compete. So this is going to be a fun one to see how the Bruins respond tomorrow. But I just want to say thank you for having me on. This was good, and I hope we can do it again.
Kevin says, see you for tomorrow's watch party. Kenny, do you want to just do our show tomorrow during the Bruins game?
Yeah, let's do it. Watch along?
Sounds good. What's that?
Watch along?
Sure. We'll talk other things than just Bruins, but Gayle, if you want to join us, you're welcome to, because it's always a lot of fun. We got plenty of NCAA to talk about. We got some OHL stuff, all the hockey world. So we can. I'll set it up so that we're live tomorrow during the Bruins game. And Gayle, you want to join us? You're welcome to.
I will have to see what's going on in my household. Like I said, my husband's been gone. my husband, for the next 6 to 8 weeks, he's going to be gone Monday and Tuesday nights. So he'll be gone. I won't see him from Sunday oh my God, Kevin.
Sorry.
Anyways, so I will have to see how tomorrow night goes. I may join for the second half of the game. I might not be on for the first part of the game, but he goes to bed early, so I may jump on.
Sounds good. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Half of the game. But I just want to say that it's going to be a long season, but I think it's going to be more fun than last season. I think that we're going to have more highs than lows. Kenny, I agree with you. It's still an NHL team. And notoriously, the Bruins have played down to their opponents. So I'm kind of hoping that they come home and say, you know what? We're on TD Garden ice. We need to prove. And they need to bring it to Chicago, because that Foligno's bringing it. Bedard's bringing it. They're all bringing it. So the Bruins have to bring it too.
Spencer Knight also
was.
I don't know if he'll play again right away, but it's early.
They practiced. They're already in Boston. They practiced at the Garden today.
That's what I mean. They could do it.
They don't have to travel. So that's the other thing too, is we'll see Boston in its first back-to-back. It's kind of good to get it. We'll probably see Korpisalo.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I don't think they'll give Sway 2 nights in a row this early in the season, but you never know. Home opener, they may be like, all right, let's go. So
I wonder if we see Beecher in for Hustadinov on the fourth line, or VL could be in. It it is Chicago. So while it is still an NHL team,
Right.
I could very easily see all 3 guys who didn't play tonight in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah. So
So-
I just wanna put out there before we say goodnight. Corrali and Elias Lindholm and Easymont led the Bruins with 3 shots apiece.
Good.
Kastelik, Kusadinov, Pasternak, and Zaka all had 2. And Morgan Geeky's only shot was his empty net goal.
I will take it.
So
All I needed
yeah,
was 1 to go in.
right.
And real quick from Money Puck, Jeremy Swayman had a goal save above expected rate of 3.29 tonight.
Outstanding.
So, no, Kevin, I don't think Bedard's getting a Hattie tomorrow. With that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I would say go enjoy Vegas, LA, because that should be a good one too.
Oh, it's Kenny Albert and Eddie Olczyk. I'm watching it on mute.
That's fine. Just enjoy the game itself. So
Still watching it on mute.
with that, Kenny and I will see people tomorrow. Gayle, hopefully you're able to join us. And maybe I'll see if a few other folks want to jump on with us tomorrow as well, since it'll be a little bit more open forum. Okay, that one is awesome. I don't know how you did the fireworks behind you, but that's so much better than the thumbs up bubble.
What the fuck?
I think that's a good note to end it on.